Chapter 1655. I didn't expect this person to be so talented. Qinshou Qiao's eyes lit up when she heard Qinshou Hongtu's explanation. Qinshou Qiao could not wait to meet Mo Qingyun. Hongtu, ask Mo Tianhun to come here immediately. I want to meet him, Qinshou Qiao urged. Qinshou Hongtu looked troubled when he heard Qinshou Qiao's urging. He said in a low voice, "Old ancestor, Mo Tianhun's status is extraordinary. Although he's here to take the servant exam, he's not a servant of Qinshou Mansion. I can't guarantee that he'll come. Just invite him as much as you can. If you really can't, I'll wait for him for a few days." Qinshou Qiao understood Qinshou Hongtu's words and immediately made some concessions. She knew that if Mo Qingyun was really that talented, she could not force Mo Qingyun to do anything. "If that's the case, I'll go over now." After hearing Qinshou Qiao's instructions, Qinshou Hongtu didn't dare to hesitate and immediately went to see Mo Qingyun. Soon, Qinshou Hongtu arrived at Mo Qingyun's palace. He saw Mo Qingyun entertaining Qinshou Ran and the other ladies. "Grandfather, why are you here?" Qinshou Ran was surprised to see Qinshou Hongtu again. She could not help but ask. Qinshou Hongtu looked at Mo Qingyun when he heard Qinshou Ran's question. He said in a low voice, "I have some matters to discuss with Mr. Mo. You can leave now." "Yes." Qinshou Ran and the other ladies were reluctant to leave Mo Qingyun's palace when they heard Qinshou Hongtu's instructions. After sending Qin Shiran and the other women away, Qinshou Hongtu didn't beat around the bush and directly told Mo Qingyun the purpose of his visit. "Young Master Mo, my residence's ancestor Qinshou Qiao wishes to see you." "Qinshou Qiao wants to see me?" Mo Qingyun was shocked. His expression immediately tensed up as he hesitated to meet Qinshou Qiao. If he went to see Qinshou Qiao, his identity would be exposed. However, if he didn't see her, he wouldn't be able to delay it for long. This was indeed troublesome. "Patriarch, I suffered some injuries during my training a few days ago. I must now cultivate to heal my injuries." After some hesitation, Mo Qingyun decided not to meet Qinshou Qiao for the time being. "Are you hurt?" Qinshou Hongtu's expression changed from shock to concern. He hurriedly asked Mo Qingyun, "Is his injury serious? Is there anything I can help with?" "There's no need for that. I just want to cultivate for a while." Mo Qingyun shook his head and rejected Qinshou Hongtu's offer. He said apologetically, "However, I'm afraid I won't be able to meet ancestor Qinshou Qiao as I need to recuperate." "Don't worry. Healing is more important." Qinshou Hongtu didn't doubt Mo Qingyun's words at all. He immediately showed an understanding expression and said, "In that case, I won't disturb you anymore." After bidding farewell to Mo Qingyun, Qinshou Hongtu paused and said, "Don't worry, I'll tell Ran to come in later and not disturb you." "Thank you, Patriarch." Mo Qingyun nodded and thanked him. He was very satisfied with Qinshou Hongtu's arrangement. This way he could have some peace. After sending Qinshou Hongtu away, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time and immediately entered the five-directional pagoda. After entering the five-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun showed an expectant expression and took out the 9 cranes homing cauldron. After taking out the 9 cranes homing cauldron, Mo Qingyun transmitted a message to the God Shooter Bao and Tiger Soul to come out of his sea of consciousness. "Kid, why did you summon me? Kid, why are you always causing trouble recently?" This is primordial spiritual dew. When Tiger Soul and the God Shooter Bao were summoned by Mo Qingyun, they both spoke in annoyance. However, when they saw the primordial spirit dew, they immediately expressed their excitement. Seeing the God Shooter Bao and Tiger Soul's reaction, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "I summoned you guys so that you can use the primordial spiritual dew to speed up your recovery. Kid, you're so considerate. We've wronged you this time." When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Tiger Soul and the God Shooter Bao smiled awkwardly and apologized. After apologizing to Mo Qingyun, the God Shooter Bao jumped into the 9 cranes homing cauldron and said to Mo Qingyun, Kid, when I recover, I'll let you refine me and recognize you as my new master. Okay, Mo Chinyan nodded. While Mo Chinyan was talking to the god Shooter Bao, Tiger Soul also flew into the Nine Cranes homing cauldron and used the primordial spiritual dew to recover. After the god Shooter Bao and Tiger Soul recovered, Mo Chinyan no longer hesitated and started to cultivate the Xianqing scripture. When Mo Chinyan started, Qianqiu Hongtu returned to Qianqiu Qiao's courtyard. What's wrong? He's not willing to come? When she saw Qianqiu Hongtu return alone, Qianqiu Qiao was shocked and immediately asked Qianqiu Hongtu. Qianqiu Qiao's tone showed that she was still a little unhappy. It's like this. Mr. Mo has been training recently and has suffered some injuries. He needs to recover immediately. Under Qianqiu Qiao's gaze, Qianqiu Hongtu did not dare to hide anything and reported truthfully. I see. Qianqiu Qiao's expression turned better, and she said, if that's the case, I'll wait for him for a few days. When he recovers, I'll see him again. After putting aside the matter of Mo Chinyan, Qianqiu Qiao pondered for a moment and said to Qianqiu Hongtu and the others, although we have Mo Tianhun, don't slack off. Continue to look for other geniuses. Yes. Qianqiu Hongtu and the others nodded and remembered Qianqiu Qiao's instructions. After that, Qianqiu Qiao and the others chatted for a while before they left. In the following days, the news of Mo Qingyun defeating Yang Tianfeng and the others spread like wildfire in the Qianqiu mansion. In just a short while, Mo Qingyun's reputation in the Qianqiu mansion reached a new height. Perhaps it was because of Qianqiu Hongtu's instructions, but although everyone was curious about Mo Qingyun, no one dared to disturb him. Time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, 20 days had passed. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was cultivating in the 5-directional small pagoda, opened his eyes in pleasant surprise. I've finally succeeded in cultivating the first stage of the mystic pure scripture. Mo Qingyun exited from his cultivation with an excited expression on his face. He exclaimed, the mystic pure spiritual energy is really powerful. I've only cultivated to the first stage, but the strength of my spiritual energy has already surpassed Ao Li and the others. If I were to fight Ao Li and the others now, I'm afraid I'll win even more easily. Mo Qingyun sighed inwardly. He stopped cultivating and left the 5-directional small pagoda in a flash. 20 days have already passed. I wonder how Ao Li's fusion with the corpse is going? With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately made his way to the Qin residence. Hidden door. In order to not be discovered by Qianqiu Hongtu and the others, Mo Qingyun cast the hidden door and concealed himself. Not long after, Mo Qingyun left the Qianqiu mansion and rushed to the Qin residence. About 15 minutes later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Qin residence. Mo Qingyun did not look for Qin Mo and the others. Instead, he went to look for Ao Li and the others. When he entered the courtyard where Ao Li and the others were, and saw Tang Xiong and the others in the courtyard, Mo Qingyun revealed himself. Master, you're here. When Tang Xiong and the others saw Mo Qingyun, they immediately stood up and greeted Mo Qingyun respectfully. Mo Qingyun nodded at Tang Xiong and the others' greetings and asked, Ao Li is in that room. How's his fusion with the corpse going? When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Tang Xiong and the others' expressions turned solemn and heavy. They said, Master, there seems to be some problems with Ao Li's cultivation. Some problems with Ao Li? When he heard Tang Xiong and the others' report, Mo Qingyun was immediately shocked and worried. With Ao Li's quasi-Tai Xian immortal cultivation, he would be a great help to him in the near future. He could not let anything happen at this time. Immediately, Mo Qingyun showed a nervous expression and quickly asked Tang Xiong and the others, What's wrong with Ao Li? How's the situation now? Ao Li immortal. When he heard Mo Qingyun's question, Tang Xiong's expression became tense, and he did not know how to explain. Seeing that Tang Xiong could not explain clearly, Mo Qingyun did not want to ask more and immediately told Tang Xiong and the others, Take me to A.O. Lee's residence immediately. Yes. When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Tang Xiong and the others did not dare to hesitate and immediately rushed over with Mo Qingyun. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived outside A.O. Lee's room and saw Lian Hong and the others waiting there. Master. When they saw Mo Qingyun arrive, Lian Hong and the others bowed respectfully. Mo Qingyun simply nodded in response to Lian Hong and the others' greetings and quickly walked towards A.O. Lee's room. Hidden door. Walking to the door of A.O. Lee's room, Mo Qingyun used the hidden door to hide his figure and aura. Teleportation door. After hiding his figure and aura, Mo Qingyun used the teleportation door again and directly entered A.O. Lee's room. Immediately, Mo Qingyun quietly came in front of A.O. Lee. When Mo Qingyun walked towards A.O. Lee, he found that A.O. Lee's aura was extremely chaotic, as if his qi and blood were flowing in reverse. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun frowned and guessed A.O. Lee's current situation. Could it be that A.O. Lee's spirit and body are in conflict because of the body of another race? Impossible. Possession is the integration of the soul into the body. There shouldn't be a conflict. Mo Qingyun quickly rejected his guess, and his mind quickly turned to speculate about A.O. Lee's current situation. Right now, when Mo Qingyun was checking A.O. Lee's situation, A.O. Lee's aura suddenly soared. A.O. Lee is about to break through? Sensing the change in Mo Qingyun's aura, Mo Qingyun's expression was shocked. He had not expected this situation. After this discovery, the worry in Mo Qingyun's heart immediately lessened. He smiled faintly. It seems that A.O. Lee is no longer in danger. His body must have undergone some changes. After knowing A.O. Lee's situation, Mo Qingyun did not stay any longer and left the room in a flash. Chapter 1656. A few days later, the aura coming from A.O. Lee's room gradually stabilized. It looked like A.O. Lee had successfully made a breakthrough in his cultivation. He has made a breakthrough. Mo Qingyun was elated when he heard that A.O. Lee had made a breakthrough in his cultivation. This meant that he had a Tai Xian immortal realm expert by his side. Creak. Under everyone's anxious gazes, the tightly shut door was opened, and A.O. Lee walked out of the room. A.O. Lee walked out of the room and saw Mo Qingyun waiting for him. He quickly walked forward and bowed. A.O. Lee greets Master. Thank you for your concern. No need to be so polite. Mo Qingyun smiled and waved his hand. He asked curiously, refining Hu Yang's body shouldn't have caused your blood to become chaotic. What happened? Mo Qingyun couldn't understand why this would happen when A.O. Lee was refining Hu Yang's body. Even if A.O. Lee was about to make a breakthrough in his cultivation, this shouldn't have happened. Under Mo Qingyun's inquiry, A.O. Lee didn't conceal anything and answered truthfully. It's like this. Hu Yang once obtained a fruit of rebirth in the illusory spirit abyss. Because he consumed the fruit of rebirth, I was refining his corpse. Because of the fruit of rebirth, my soul and bloodline underwent a mutation. Following that, A.O. Lee recounted everything that had happened without missing a single detail. Oh, so that's how it is. Mo Qingyun revealed a look of understanding as he understood the general reason. He smiled faintly and said, It seems you've profited from a disaster. If nothing unexpected happens, your bloodline rank should have increased by a lot, right? It has indeed increased by quite a bit. A.O. Lee didn't deny it and said, Based on my estimation, my bloodline rank should be comparable to the top 20 races on the 10,000 Archean Triboard. Comparable to the top 20 races on the 10,000 Archean Triboard. Tang Xiong and the others were shocked when they heard A.O. Lee's words. They were even more afraid of A.O. Lee. It looked like A.O. Lee's cultivation talent and potential were much more terrifying than before. Although A.O. Lee was strong in the past, his bloodline was the rhinoceros sword dragon race, which was ranked in the 40th percentile of the 10,000 ancient races. Not bad. Knowing that A.O. Lee's innate talent had increased, Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction. He hesitated for a moment before saying, "You should have heard that the heavenly soul demon race can subdue star generals. Now, I am preparing to take you as my star general. Are you willing to become my star general?" Star general. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ao Li's expression immediately turned joyful. Revealing an excited expression, he said, "Many thanks for Master's appreciation. This subordinate is willing to become Master Star General." With Ao Li's intelligence, he could naturally tell that Mo Qingyun wanted to take care of him. The members of the Heavenly Soul Demon clan would condense different numbers of soul stars according to their talents. The more soul stars he had, the more soul palaces he could establish, and the more star generals he could capture. But even so, ordinary Heavenly Soul demons could only subdue a dozen or so star generals. From this, it could be seen that becoming a Heavenly Soul Demon clan star general was not a simple matter. Now that he could become Mo Qingyun's star general, it was because he had received Mo Qingyun's acknowledgement. Seeing that Ao Li had agreed to become his star general, Mo Qingyun did not say anything else and immediately began to merge their souls. Not long after, a strange imprint fell into Ao Li's mind, allowing him to become Mo Qingyun's star general. After Mo Qingyun had taken Ao Li as his star general, he pointed at the soul star and sent Ao Li into his soul palace. "I still have matters to take care of at the Chinchou Manor, so I will not stay any longer." After sending Ao Li into his soul palace, Missouri Qingyun gave Tang Xiong and the others some instructions before leaving the Qin clan. After leaving the Qin clan, Mo Qingyun once again used the concealment door and hid his figure. Not long after, Mo Qingyun returned to his residence and saw Chinchou Hongtu waiting for him. Seeing Chinchou Hongtu waiting for him in the palace, Missouri Qingyun did not disturb him and directly returned to his room. "Chinchou Hongtu is here again. I'm afraid he wants me to meet Chinchou Qiao again." Mo Qingyun returned to his room and guessed Chinchou Hongtu's intentions. He hesitated whether or not he should meet Chinchou Qiao. "With my current strength, even if Chinchou Qiao wants to harm me, I can still protect myself." Thinking of his current strength, Mo Qingyun's fear of Chinchou Qiao immediately lessened. He thought to himself, "Since that's the case, it doesn't matter if I meet Chinchou Qiao." After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun made a decision. He planned to meet Chinchou Qiao. Furthermore, he had to meet Chinchou Qiao eventually. It was not a bad thing to meet him earlier. Mo Qingyun made up his mind. He opened the door and went out to meet Chinchou Hongtu. "Mr. Mo, your cultivation is over. Are your injuries better?" Seeing Mo Qingyun come out of his room, Chinchou Hongtu was very concerned. He quickly asked Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly in response to Chinchou Hongtu's question. He replied, "Thank you for your concern. My injuries are no longer a problem. Mr. Mo, since your injuries have healed, can you come with me to meet Chinchou Qiao?" Knowing that Mo Qingyun's injuries were no longer a problem, Chinchou Hongtu told him the reason for his visit. He invited Mo Qingyun to meet Chinchou Qiao. "Of course. Thank you for leading the way." Mo Qingyun nodded and gestured for Chinchou Hongtu to lead the way. Hearing Mo Qingyun's agreement, Chinchou Hongtu's face lit up immediately. He brought Mo Qingyun to meet Chinchou Qiao. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived at Chinchou Qiao's courtyard under Chinchou Hongtu's lead. At this moment, there were a few elders of Chinchou Mansion in Chinchou Qiao's courtyard. They were reporting to Chinchou Qiao. When they saw Mo Qingyun, they smiled faintly and nodded at Mo Qingyun to greet him. Seeing their actions, Mo Qingyun nodded back politely and responded to them one by one. After communicating with them, Mo Qingyun's gaze landed on Chinchou Qiao. When Mo Qingyun looked at Chinchou Qiao also looked at him with a shocked expression. She did not expect the Mo Tianhan that Chinchou Hongtu mentioned to be the guy from the affiliated continent. Why is he here? Looking at Mo Qingyun, Chinchou Qiao's heart was filled with disbelief. This scene was too sudden. She was not prepared for it all. "Senior, long time no see. Mo Qingyun ignored Qin Xiao's shock and greeted her indifferently. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Qin Hongtu and the others were also shocked. They were very surprised by this scene. From the looks of it, Mo Qingyun seemed to know Qin Xiao and had interacted with her before. I didn't expect to see you again in Qin Mansion. Qin Xiao smiled faintly and gave a simple reply to Mo Qingyun. Then, she waved her hand at Qin Hongtu and the others and said, Hongtu, I have something to say to Mr. Mo. You may leave first. Yes. Hearing Qin Xiao's order, Qin Hongtu and the others did not dare to hesitate and immediately walked out of the courtyard. Although they were curious about the relationship between Mo Qingyun and Qin Xiao, they did not dare to ask. Have a seat. After Qin Hongtu and the others left, Qin Xiao pointed at the stone stool in front of her and gestured for Mo Qingyun to sit down. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not show any restraint and casually sat down in front of Qin Xiao. I didn't expect you to grow so much in just a few years. Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of her, Qin Xiao's expression was filled with emotion. Then, her expression turned cold, and she said, However, although your growth has surprised me, with your current strength, you are still no match for the saint. Senior, are you trying to persuade me to give up? Hearing Qin Xiao's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said with an unyielding expression, Let's not talk about the saint of 1,000 illusions. Even if the person who stopped me was the heaven's path, I would still rewrite it. You. Hearing Mo Qingyun's stubbornness, Qin Xiao's expression darkened and she was displeased. At the same time, a shockingly powerful aura flowed out of her body. So powerful. Sensing Qin Xiao's aura, Mo Qingyun was shocked and he sighed. Qin Xiao's cultivation is indeed at the Tai Xian immortal realm. Judging from Qin Xiao's aura, her cultivation level was much higher than Ao Li's. Mo Qingyun was not sure which stage of the Tai Xian immortal realm Qin Xiao was at. However, Ao Li could not compare to her. Of course, although Mo Qingyun was shocked by Qin Xiao's cultivation level, he did not show any signs of panic. Qin Xiao was indeed powerful. However, if he wanted to leave, Qin Xiao might not be able to stop him. While Mo Qingyun was shocked, he activated his heavenly soul demon bloodline to resist Qin Xiao's aura. Following that, a terrifying bloodline power exploded out of Mo Qingyun's body. Under the suppression of Mo Qingyun's bloodline power, Qin Xiao was shocked. She looked at Mo Qingyun and said in shock, Heavenly Soul, Demon Bloodline? You're only from a subsidiary continent. How can you have the Heavenly Soul, Demon Bloodline? Senior, with your status and experience, you don't have to ask such a low-level question, right? Mo Qingyun had a calm expression on his face when he heard Qin Xiao's question. Qin Xiao's expression changed when she heard Mo Qingyun's question. She asked, Are you saying that you are a prodigy of the Heavenly Soul, Demon Bloodline? Does it matter if I am or not? Mo Qingyun did not answer her question. Instead, he changed the topic and asked, Senior, I don't think you asked me to come here to talk about this, right? Qin Xiao stared at Mo Qingyun and did not say anything. He looked at Mo Qingyun and did not say anything. Qin Xiao looked at Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was not affected, Qin Xiao did not say anything. The saint is preparing to form a new clone. She needs a powerful bloodline as a guide. I hope you can help her. Qin Xiao did not hide anything and told Mo Qingyun his thoughts. He hoped that Mo Qingyun would agree. Chapter 1657. Logically speaking, the holy maiden that Qin Xiao spoke of should have forbidden Mo Qingyun from meeting Long Hanyan. Mo Qingyun should reject Qin Xiao and not help the holy maiden. However, Mo Qingyun considered that even if he didn't help, there would be other people who would. Since that was the case, he might as well use this opportunity to negotiate with Qin Xiao. It's not that I can't help, but I have a small condition. Mo Qingyun wasn't in a hurry to agree. At the very least, He couldn't agree so easily. He had to get some benefits first. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Qian Xiao's expression froze. He asked, "What condition do you have? Tell me." "My condition is very simple. Let me meet Han Yin." Mo Qingyun didn't ask for too much. He just wanted to meet Long Han Yin and understand how Long Han Yin was doing. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, he had to eat one bite at a time. Even if he wanted to take Long Han Yin away, he had to do it step by step. Hearing Mo Qingyun's condition, Qian Xiao's expression immediately turned ugly. He emitted a cold aura. He said coldly, "Mo Qingyun, you appeared in my Qian Xiao manner. I'm already being very kind by not capturing you. Don't go overboard. Senior, if you think you have the confidence to capture me, you can give it a try." Mo Qingyun didn't care about Qian Xiao's threat at all. He said provocatively, "One day, I will take Han Yin away from the 1,000 illusions. The holy maiden you speak of won't be able to stop me. You won't be able to stop me either." "You." Hearing Mo Qingyun's arrogant words, Qian Xiao's expression turned even colder. He gritted his teeth and said, "Junior, do you believe that I won't kill you right here and now?" "I don't believe you." Mo Qingyun shook his head, and he still maintained a provocative attitude as he said coldly, "Senior, you could try making a move against me if you don't believe me. However, if you do, then don't blame me for acting against Thousand Autumn Manor." "Are you threatening me?" Qian Xiao's eyes were gloomy, and a murderous aura emanated from her body. It seemed that she was really angry. However, before Qian Xiao could make a move, the aura of a Tai Xian celestial surged out from Mo Qingyun's spiritual star. This was the aura released by Ao Li. Because Ao Li was Mo Qingyun's star general, the aura he released was almost equal to Mo Qingyun's. "You unexpectedly have a grand unity, profound, immortal realm star general. No wonder you dare to be so rude to me." Sensing Mo Qingyun's aura, Qian Xiao's expression changed. He suppressed his anger. She knew very well that Mo Qingyun had a Tai Xian celestial realm star general. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to stop Mo Qingyun. This way, if she dared to attack Mo Qingyun would hold a grudge against her. That would be a very bad thing. Not everyone in the Thousand Autumn Manor was as strong as her, reaching the Tai Xian celestial realm. This way, if Mo Qingyun ordered a Tai Xian celestial realm star general to kill the Thousand Autumn Manor's members, it would be a disaster. That would be a calamity for Thousand Autumn's Manor. "Senior, you can think about it slowly. Give me a reply when you've thought it through." Seeing that Qian Xiao was silent, Mo Qingyun didn't want to stay any longer. He stood up and walked out of the courtyard. Since he didn't see eye to eye with Qian Xiao, there was no need for him to stay any longer. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk out of the courtyard, Qian Xiao's expression changed. In the end, she didn't say anything. When Mo Qingyun walked out of the courtyard, he saw Qian Xiao and the others. They all looked nervous. "Mr. Mo, you're out." Seeing Mo Qingyun come out of the courtyard, Qian Xiao and the others immediately went up to him. With a curious and nervous expression, they asked, "Mr. Mo, how did you meet ancestor Qian Xiao? He didn't make things difficult for you just now, did he?" "Make things difficult?" "You can say that he didn't make things difficult for me." Mo Qingyun smiled meaningfully and gave a simple reply. His expression gradually became serious, and he said, "Everyone, I think it's better if you don't ask me how I met Qian Xiao. It won't do you any good." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Xiao and the others were shocked. Their expressions became tense. They knew very well that since Mo Qingyun said so, it was probably not something they should ask. "Patriarch, elders, I still have some matters to attend to. I'll take my leave first." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't wait for Qian Xiao and the others to reply and went back to his residence. Seeing Mo Qingyun leave directly, Qian Xiao and the others looked at each other and didn't know what to do. Qian Xiao and the others pondered for a while. Then they returned to the courtyard. They walked up to Qian Xiao and asked, "Ancestor, about Mr. Mo helping the saint, did he agree?" I'll deal with this myself. You don't have to worry about it. Chinchou Qiao didn't answer Chinchou Hongtu's question. With a serious expression, he said, "Also, tell everyone in the clan not to provoke Emo Qingyun." Emo Qingyun? Chinchou Hongtu and the others didn't understand. They didn't know who this Emo Qingyun was. Seeing Chinchou Hongtu and the others' expressions, Chinchou Qiao took a deep breath and explained, "Emo Qingyun is the Emo Tianhun you're talking about. He didn't use his real name before." "Oh, I see." Chinchou Hongtu and the others understood and stopped asking about Emo Qingyun. After hearing Chinchou Qiao's explanation, Chinchou Hongtu and the others became even more curious about Emo Qingyun's identity. While Chinchou Qiao and the others were talking, Emo Qingyun returned to his residence and entered the 5-directional small pagoda. After entering the 5-directional small pagoda, Emo Qingyun started cultivating and making the best use of his time to improve his cultivation. After seeing Chinchou Qiao's cultivation, Emo Qingyun became even more anxious to improve his own strength. Given his current strength, it would be difficult for him to deal with Chinchou Qiao, let alone the entire Chinchou clan. Time passed slowly as Emo Qingyun cultivated. While Emo Qingyun was cultivating, Chinchou Qiao didn't disturb him. Hence, Emo Qingyun wasn't in a hurry. After about 10 days, Chinchou Qiao couldn't take it anymore and ordered Chinchou Hongtu to look for Emo Qingyun. When Emo Qingyun saw that Chinchou Hongtu had come to look for him, he didn't refuse and went to see Chinchou Qiao. "Senior, have you made up your mind?" Emo Qingyun sat down casually in front of Chinchou Qiao and asked for Chinchou Qiao's decision. When Chinchou Qiao heard Emo Qingyun's words, her face turned cold. She stared at Emo Qingyun for a while before she said, "I agree to your conditions. However, I have a few requests." "Tell me." Emo Qingyun had a curious look on his face as he listened with interest. "When you see Han Yin, don't act intimately with her. Also, you shouldn't talk for too long." Chinchou Qiao explained his request to Emo Qingyun one by one, taking every single detail into consideration. It seemed like she had been thinking about this for the past few days. "All right, I promise you." Emo Qingyun agreed to Chinchou Qiao's request without hesitation. Emo Qingyun had his own reasons for agreeing to Chinchou Qiao's request. Since Chinchou Qiao and Emo Qingyun had reached a consensus, she didn't delay any further. She stood up and instructed Emo Qingyun, "Since that's the case, go back and pack up. Tomorrow, we will head to the inner area of the 1,000 illusions." "All right." Emo Qingyun nodded and left Chinchou Qiao's courtyard. "I didn't expect that in just a few years, the ant-like young man would be able to stand up to me." Chinchou Qiao had a complicated expression on her face as she watched Emo Qingyun's back. She sighed, "I don't know if my decision is right or wrong. I hope that he can be of some help to the Holy Lady." Emo Qingyun's growth was too fast. It was beyond her understanding. After leaving Chinchou Qiao's courtyard, Emo Qingyun didn't return to his residence. Instead, he left the Chinchou Manor. After leaving the Chinchou Manor, Emo Qingyun activated the concealment door to prevent others from following him. Before long, Emo Qingyun arrived at the Qin Manor. He found Tang Xiong and the others and gave them some instructions. After giving Tang Xiong and the others some instructions, Emo Qingyun left the Qin Manor. After leaving the Qin Manor, Emo Qingyun didn't return to the Chinchou Manor immediately. Instead, he asked Gulanshan to find him an inn. Going to the 1,000 illusions is like entering a tiger's den. I can't completely trust Chinchou Qiao. After entering the room of the inn, Emo Qingyun made a mental note to leave some backup plans for himself. After a short moment of contemplation, Emo Qingyun came up with a plan. "My body contains the grand primordium fortune bloodline. As long as my avatars aren't destroyed, I can reconstruct my true body. Therefore, I only need to leave 2 avatars behind to ensure my safety." After making up his mind, Emo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and waited for tomorrow to come. At this time, at the entrance of the illusory spirit abyss, a silver figure flew over at an extremely fast speed and stopped in front of the entrance. According to those people's words, This person called Mo Qingyun should be the person young lord is looking for. The silver figure stopped in front of the entrance and pondered, recalling the information Tang Xiao had told him. After a short pause, the silver figure flew towards the illusory spirit abyss, hoping to find Mo Qingyun. The moment the silver figure entered the illusory spirit abyss, he saw a group of people searching for opportunities. Have you seen this person before? When the silver figure saw a middle-aged man, he immediately captured him and condensed a figure with spiritual energy. The middle-aged man was startled when he saw the spiritual energy figure in front of him. He recognized the figure. The middle-aged man said, "Senior, I have an impression of this person. More than a month ago, he had a fierce battle with Wan Feng, Hu Yang, and Ao Li, the three great immortal venerables. He crushed the three immortal venerables." The middle-aged man recounted the incident without missing a single detail. After listening to the middle-aged man's narration, the silver figure frowned and thought to himself, "It seems that this kid called Mo Qingyun has encountered a great opportunity recently that has allowed his strength to skyrocket. With his current strength, I may not be able to capture him. It seems that I have to go back and report to the young lord." The silver figure no longer hesitated and flew out of the illusory spirit abyss. Chapter 1658. It was a quiet night. The next morning, Mo Qingyun left his residence and went to meet up with Qian Xiao and the others. When he arrived at Qian Xiao's residence, Mo Qingyun saw a few young men standing at the side with respectful expressions. Mo Qingyun glanced at the few young men beside him before he found a chair and sat down. He ignored them. When they saw Mo Qingyun's actions, the young men were stunned. They were surprised by Mo Qingyun's actions. After a short moment of surprise, the young men's expressions revealed their dissatisfaction. If he wasn't mistaken, they assumed that Mo Qingyun's identity was the same as theirs. Therefore, when they saw Mo Qingyun's actions, they were displeased and angry. A brat at the golden body formation stage dares to be so presumptuous. You must be tired of living. A young man with purple hair and a golden crown snorted unhappily. He raised his head arrogantly and said, "Brat, do you know whose residence this is? How dare you be so unruly?" When he heard the young man's words, Mo Qingyun glanced at him indifferently and ignored him. He was only at the minor golden body stage, and he did not want to bother with him. When he saw Mo Qingyun glance at him and look away, the young man with the golden crown's expression turned ugly. He was actually ignored by Mo Qingyun. "Jing Qing, this brat dares to ignore you. You can't let him off." When they saw Mo Qingyun's actions, the people around him were not afraid of making things worse. They started to provoke the young man with the golden crown. When he heard the provocation, the young man with the golden crown's expression turned even uglier. He glared at Mo Qingyun and shouted, "Brat, I'll give you 3 breaths of time. Get over here and stand." When he heard Jing Qing's words, not only did Mo Qingyun ignore him, he even closed his eyes. This time, Jing Qing was even more infuriated. Mo Qingyun was really too arrogant. When they saw Mo Qingyun's actions, as long as they were not idiots, they would know that he was provoking Jing Qing. "Brat, you don't know the rules. Looks like I have to teach you some basic manners." Mo Qingyun was so rude. If he did not teach Mo Qingyun a lesson, he would not have any face left. When Jing Qing finished speaking, he revealed a sinister smile and said, "Recently, I've cultivated a new superpower. Now, I'll use you to practice." Bone Phoenix destroying immortal. Jing Qing formed a hand seal and pointed at Mo Qingyun, blasting out a gust of eerie immortal spiritual power. Following that, a huge bone phoenix formed Immortal Bone's body and emitted a sinister aura. Immortal, immortal, immortal immortals, immortals, immortal immortals face. He immortal immortalses immortalses it. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he pointed at the skeletal phoenix and unleashed a terrifying aura. At the same time, a huge black finger formed in front of Mo Qingyun. Bang! Under the attack of Mo Qingyun's finger, the skeletal phoenix instantly exploded and turned back into immortal spiritual energy. Seeing Mo Qingyun shatter the bone phoenix with a single strike, Jing Qing and the others were shocked. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's strength. They didn't expect that this kid, who didn't seem to have a high cultivation level, would have such terrifying strength. Get over here. Before Jing Qing and the others could react, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and grabbed at Jing Qing, directly capturing him. Seeing that she could not resist Mo Qingyun's attack at all, Jing Qing panicked and said, "What are you doing? This is old ancestor Qianqiuqiu's doing, so you better not go overboard. Trying to use Qianqiuqiu to suppress me?" Hearing Jing Qing's words, Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain. He shook his head and sneered. "I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he no longer hesitated. He grabbed Jing Qing and smashed him into the ground. Boom, boom, boom. Under Mo Qingyun's attack, Jing Qing was smashed into the ground like a wooden stake. Seeing what happened to Jing Qing, the other people around him were shocked. Fear could be seen in their eyes. It was too violent, too unreasonable. Mo Qingyun and Jing Qing's battle immediately attracted the attention of Qianqiuqiu and the others. They all came over. When Qinqiu Hongtu and the others arrived and saw the mess in front of them, they all looked displeased. Qinqiu Hongtu looked around at the crowd with a cold expression. He asked the few young men, "What's going on?" Hearing Qinqiu Hongtu's question, the few young men panicked and quickly answered, "Master, it's like this." Jing Qing saw this kid sitting in the courtyard and felt that he didn't know the rules at all. So, he kindly advised him, but he didn't expect him to hurt him. As soon as the few of them finished speaking, they sneered proudly and looked at Mo Qingyun gloatingly. In their opinion, once Qinqiu Hongtu and the others found out the reason, they would definitely punish Mo Qingyun severely. Under the gazes of the few young men, Qinqiu Hongtu turned to look at Mo Qingyun and quickly walked toward Mo Qingyun. Soon, Qinqiu Hongtu arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and said apologetically, "Mr. Mo, I was delayed by some matters and couldn't receive you in time. I hope you won't hold it against them." Seeing Qinqiu Hongtu's reaction, the few young men next to him were stunned. What was going on? The master of Qinqiu Mansion was apologizing to a junior in the Golden Celestial stage. Was this kid really that awesome? Before the few young men could react, Qinqiu Hongtu continued, "These young men's fathers are friends with me. Can you let this matter go for my sake?" Qinqiu Hongtu apologized again. Then, he looked at the few young men sternly and scolded, "You young men, hurry up and apologize. Ask Mr. Mo to forgive you." "You want us to apologize?" The one who was being rude was clearly Mo Qingyun. "Okay." When they heard Qinqiu Hongtu's words, the few young men looked aggrieved. They felt as though a rock was stuck in their throats. Was there any justice in this world? Although they were unhappy, the few young men did not dare to disobey Qinqiu Hongtu. Then, the few young men pulled long faces and walked quickly toward Mo Qingyun. Looking at the few young men approaching, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and asked, "Now, do you still think that I'm not qualified to sit here?" No. When they heard Mo Qingyun's question, the few young men were embarrassed and their faces turned red. Seeing that the few young men were silent, Mo Qingyun did not wait for them to speak. He waved at them and said, "All right, you can leave now. Don't bother me anymore." When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Qinqiu Hongtu's face darkened. He urged the few young men, "Why are you still standing here? Why don't you thank Mr. Mo for his magnanimity?" "Thank you so much, Mr. Mo, for sparing us." When they heard Qinqiu Hongtu's urging, the few young men reluctantly begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. After apologizing to Mo Qingyun, the few young men did not stand there anymore and went back to stand at the side. When the group walked to the side, Qinqiu Hongtu pulled Jing Qing out of the ground. He shouted angrily at Qinqiu Hongtu, "Jing Qing, why are you still standing there? Hurry up and apologize to Mr. Mo." Apologize to him? Jing Qing was stunned and did not recover for a long time. When he saw that Jing Qing did not move, Qinqiu Hongtu's face darkened. He released his aura to suppress Jing Qing and said, Jing Qing, if your prickly mountain pangolin tribe still want help, come over and apologize to Mr. Mo immediately. When he heard Qinqiu Hongtu's words, Jing Qing looked aggrieved and walked unwillingly toward Mo Qingyun. However, before Jing Qing could get close, Mo Qingyun waved his hand and stopped Jing Qing from moving forward. He said, You don't have to come over. I can't accept your apology. When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Jing Qing was stunned. He unconsciously looked at Qinqiu Hongtu and said, Master Hongtu, it's not that I don't want to apologize. It's that he doesn't want to accept my apology. If you can't satisfy Mr. Mo, the prickly mountain pangolin tribe can forget about getting help. Qinqiu Hongtu ignored Jing Qing's excuse and threatened him coldly. When he heard Qinqiu Hongtu's words, Jing Qing immediately admitted defeat and continued to apologize to Mo Qingyun. Young Master Jing Qing, do you want me to stand aside so that you can apologize to me? When he saw Jing Qing apologizing, Mo Qingyun mocked him. Jing Qing's face turned pale. However, due to the pressure from Qinqiu Hongtu, he still apologized to Mo Qingyun. When they saw Jing Qing's predicament, the people around him had bitter expressions on their faces. They were extremely upset. If they had known that Mo Qingyun was so powerful, they would not have provoked him. After about 15 minutes, when Qinqiu Qiao returned, Jing Qing finally stopped apologizing to Mo Qingyun. Is everyone here? Qinqiu Qiao glanced at the crowd, and his gaze landed on Qinqiu Hongtu. When he heard Qinqiu Qiao's question, Qinqiu Hongtu's expression immediately turned serious. He said, Old ancestor, everyone is here. We can set off immediately. All right. Qinqiu Qiao nodded and hinted at Qinqiu Hongtu to set off to the inner part of the 1,000 illusions. Then, under Qinqiu Hongtu's command, a huge demonic beast carriage flew over at lightning speed. That's the 9 lightning cloud eagle. I didn't expect Qinqiu Mansion to have such a demonic beast carriage. When they saw the 4 giant eagles around the demonic beast carriage, Jing Qing and the others were shocked. They were even more respectful of Qinqiu Mansion. When he saw Jing Qing and the others' reactions, Mo Qingyun remained calm. He did not show any emotion. Although the 9 lightning cloud eagle was rare, it could not be compared to the lightning cloudy crane. However, since everyone was riding in the demonic beast carriage, Mo Qingyun did not summon the lightning cloudy crane. Then, Mo Qingyun followed everyone into the demonic beast carriage. Perhaps it was because of the earlier incident, Jing Qing and the others were obviously more reserved when they entered the demonic beast carriage. Chapter 1659. Since I've completed the first level of the Xian Qing scripture, it's time to start on the second level. Mo Qingyun sat cross-legged in the demonic beast carriage. He did not want to waste any time and immediately began to cultivate the Xian Qing scripture. As Mo Qingyun cultivated the Xian Qing scripture, a terrifying aura emanated from his body. This kid is only at the golden celestial stage. How can he have such a powerful aura? In terms of aura alone, this kid is no weaker than a Daluo golden celestial. No wonder I'm no match for him. This kid has hidden his strength so well. Sensing Mo Qingyun's aura, Jing Qing and the others were shocked. They were even more afraid of Mo Qingyun now. Only now did they realize how stupid it was for them to provoke Mo Qingyun. What kind of cultivation technique is this kid cultivating? How can he have such a terrifying aura? Looking at Mo Qingyun, who was not far away, Qinqiu Qiao's pretty face was filled with shock. She thought to herself, it seems like this kid must have had some heaven-defying luck in the past few years that allowed him to soar to the top. Mo Qingyun was oblivious to everyone's shocked reaction. He was still immersed in his cultivation. After a brief moment of shock, everyone ignored Mo Qingyun and closed their eyes to adjust their breathing. As everyone began to cultivate, time flowed by in this manner. The Chinchou mansion was still quite far away from the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions. After half a month, Mo Qingyun and the others finally arrived at the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions. Mr. Mo, we're here. When they arrived at the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions, Chinchou Hongtu called out to Mo Qingyun softly, waking Mo Qingyun up from his cultivation. Hearing Chinchou Hongtu's words, Mo Qingyun opened his eyes and a faint smile appeared on his lips. He thought to himself, I didn't think that the second level of the Xianqing scripture would be as easy as the first level. This way, I will need at most 2 months to complete the second level. Mo Qingyun originally thought that the difficulty of cultivating the second level of the mystic pure scripture would definitely be much greater than the first level. Who would have thought that after he started cultivating the profound pure scripture, the situation would not be the same? The second level was not that difficult to cultivate. It was just a little slower than the first level. Mo Qingyun was happy to see such a situation. This way, he would be able to quickly cultivate the Xianqing scripture to the third stage. At that time, his strength would definitely increase greatly, and he would have more confidence in rescuing Long Hanyan. Mo Qingyun was secretly delighted. He nodded to Chinchou Hongtu and followed him out of the demonic beast carriage. The inner clan is different from the Chinchou mansion. You must not cause trouble here. Chinchou Qiao instructed Mo Qingyun and the others as he led them forward. He said, I will bring you to your residence now. When the saintess wants to see you, I will personally bring you to her. Yes. Hearing Chinchou Qiao's words, Jing Qing and the others were immediately overjoyed and excited. If the saintess takes a liking to me, I will soar to the heavens. I don't ask for the saintess to take a liking to me. I just want her to give me some guidance. Useless. Even if the chances are slim, I will not give up so easily. Jing Qing and the others were excited as they fantasized about the impossible. Seeing the actions of Jing Qing and the others, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and did not express his opinion. He did not expect these fellows to come here with such thoughts. Not long after, under Chinchou Qiao's guidance, they arrived at a huge courtyard. In this courtyard, there were many small courtyards with the names of the various branches. 1,000 spirits. Under Chinchou Qiao's guidance, the group easily arrived at a courtyard with the words 1,000 spirits hanging on it. After leading Mo Qingyun and the others to the courtyard, Chinchou Qiao's expression turned solemn as he warned Jing Qing and the others. There are people from the various branches of the 1,000 illusions here. Although some of them are branches, their strength is not to be underestimated. It's best if you don't provoke them. Yes, we understand. Hearing Chinchou Qiao's words, Jing Qing and the others' expressions turned solemn as a sense of reverence rose in their hearts. If even Chinchou Qiao said they were strong, they were definitely not people they could provoke. At this moment, while Chinchou Qiao was instructing Mo Qingyun and the others, a group of people walked into the courtyard. Aunt Xiao, are these the people from the Chinchou mansion? It seems like their talents are very ordinary. A stooped old woman swept her gaze over Mo Qingyun and the others as she sneered at Chinchou Qiao. Hearing this, Chinchou Qiao's expression sank as he revealed a trace of displeasure. Aunt Rong, as expected of your Qianhua mansion's people. They all look like you. Oomph. The people the saintess is looking for are geniuses with powerful bloodlines. What's the use of being good-looking? Qian Huarong snorted coldly at Chinchou Qiao's words and retorted with displeasure. Hearing this, Chinchou Qiao's expression changed as he said unhurriedly, the human gate often says that dragons give birth to dragons, phoenixes give birth to phoenixes, and rats give birth to babies. I understand now. You. Hearing this, Qian Huarong immediately became furious. She glared at Chinchou Qiao and snorted coldly. Don't be too pleased with yourself. Let's continue walking. She could tell that Chinchou Qiao was indirectly insulting her. These people were all her bastards. After Qian Huarong's harsh words, she led her group of people into another courtyard. Seeing that Qian Huarong and the others had left, Chinchou Qiao's expression turned serious. He immediately warned Mo Qingyun and the others. The Qianhua Mansion's people have always been at odds with our 1,000 Spirits Mansion. They will definitely make things difficult for you in the future. You must be careful. Yes. Hearing Qian Xiu Qiao's words, Jing Qing and the others' expressions tensed up. Compared to Jing Qing and the others, Mo Qingyun looked much calmer. He still looked as calm as ever. Mo Qingyun's thoughts were simple. As long as those people didn't provoke him, he would let it go. If those people didn't know what was good for them and came to provoke him, he would teach them a lesson even if they were in the 1,000 Illusions Mansion's inner clan. All right, I've already told you what I need to tell you. You can wait here in peace. After telling them what to do, Qinshou Qiao didn't plan to stay any longer and prepared to leave. Senior, wait. Seeing that Qinshou Qiao was about to leave, Mo Qingyun frowned and hurriedly called out to him. Hearing Mo Qingyun's call, Qinshou Qiao stopped in his tracks and turned to Mo Qingyun. He asked, Mo Qingyun, is there anything else? Seeing that Qinshou Qiao was asking about Mo Qingyun, Jing Qing and the others were delighted. They were gloating. From their point of view, Mo Qingyun's actions might cause Qinshou Qiao to be displeased. If Mo Qingyun caused Qinshou Qiao to be displeased, even if Qinshou Hongtu protected him, it would be useless. Under the gazes of Jing Qing and the others, Mo Qingyun looked indifferent as he stared at Qinshou Qiao and said, Senior, don't forget the promise you made to me before coming here. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qinshou Qiao's expression turned cold. She exuded a chilling aura and said, Mo Qingyun, aren't you afraid that I'll make a move on you now? You should know that this is the inner clan of the 1,000 Illusions. There are many Tai Xian celestial realm experts here. Hee, it's natural for me to be afraid. Mo Qingyun didn't deny it. He spoke his true thoughts and said, However, since I dare to come here with you, I naturally have some backup plans. I hope that you won't do something that you will regret. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't say anything else. He faced Qinshou Qiao calmly. Qinshou Qiao looked at Mo Qingyun for a while. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was still calm, she looked away and said, Don't worry. Since I promised you, I won't go back on my words. Wait for me to pass the message to you. All right. Mo Qingyun nodded. He turned around and walked into the courtyard. He didn't care about Qinshou Qiao anymore. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the expressions of Jing Qing and the others immediately changed, and they started to admire Mo Qingyun. This lad was only at the Golden Celestial Realm. How dare he be so rude to a Tai Xian Celestial Realm expert? However, what surprised Jing Qing and the others was that Qinshou Qiao wasn't angry at Mo Qingyun's action at all. This lad is getting more and more unfathomable. He's always so calm. Looking at Mo Qingyun's back, Qinshou Qiao couldn't help but sigh. She was even more curious about Mo Qingyun. She thought to herself, Lad, I hope you're really capable. Otherwise, your actions will not only harm yourself, but also that Long Hanyan. Qinshou Qiao thought to herself. She didn't want to stay any longer. She turned around and left the courtyard. Seeing that Qinshou Qiao had left, Jing Qing and the others didn't want to stay any longer. They walked into a house. When Mo Qingyun returned to the house, he didn't think too much about it. He immediately started to cultivate. There were many experts in the 1,000 Illusions. Without knowing where Long Hanyan lived, he didn't dare to wander around. This was because he wasn't sure what kind of experts he could hide from when he used the door of concealment. Therefore, what he needed to do now was to wait for Qinshou Qiao's news. At that time, when he saw Long Hanyan's position, he could go and find Long Hanyan alone. As Mo Qingyun was cultivating and waiting, time passed by slowly. After about 2 days, an arrogant young man came to the courtyard where Mo Qingyun and the others were staying. If Mo Qingyun was here, he would definitely recognize this young man. He was Chun Hyunmyung, who had a grudge against him. Mo Qingyun, you got guts. How dare you come to the inner clan of the 1,000 Illusions? When Chun Hyunmyung heard about Mo Qingyun's arrival from Qinshou Qiao, he immediately rushed over. Not only did Mo Qingyun disrespect him, but he also killed one of his doppelgangers. If he didn't teach Mo Qingyun a lesson, he wouldn't be able to quell his anger. Chapter 1660. Mo Qingyun, get your ass out here right now. Chun Hyun-myung stood in the middle of the courtyard and shouted at the people inside. Everyone in the courtyard came out when they heard Chun Hyun-myung's voice. They wanted to see who was making a ruckus. Chun Hyun-myung, why are you here? Why are you looking for Mr. Mo? Seeing Chun Hyun-myung in front of him, Chinchyo Hongtu was shocked and immediately asked him. Chun Hyun-myung was Chinchyo Chao's disciple, so Chinchyo Hongtu knew him. However, Chinchyo Hongtu did not know that Mo Qingyun and Chun Hyun-myung had a deep feud. Otherwise, he would not be surprised by Chun Hyun-myung's arrival. Patriarch Hongtu, although Mo Qingyun is your servant, I hope you won't meddle in other people's business. In response to Chinchyo Hongtu's question, Qin Shuangming's expression was cold as he sternly warned Chinchyo Hongtu. Before Chun Hyun-myung came, he had done some simple research on Mo Qingyun's identity. Therefore, he knew that Mo Qingyun was a servant of Chinchyo Mansion. It was not strange at all. Chinchyo Hongtu's face darkened when he saw Chun Hyun-myung's attitude. He was slightly displeased. Although Chun Hyun-myung was Chinchyo Chao's disciple, he was also the master of Chinchyo Mansion. He could not tolerate Chun Hyun-myung's rudeness. Creak. While Chun Hyun-myung and the others were talking, Mo Qingyun opened the door and walked out. Mo Qingyun walked out of the room and saw Chun Hyun-myung in the courtyard. He was surprised. He did not expect to meet Chun Hyun-myung here. After a short moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun's expression returned to normal. He did not show much emotion. Chun Hyun-myung's face darkened when he saw Mo Qingyun walk out of the room. He said coldly to Mo Qingyun, Mo Qingyun, since you are useful to the Saintess, I will spare your life today. Destroy your own cultivation. The identity of the Saintess of 1,000 illusions only needed a powerful bloodline. Cultivation was not the key. That was why Chun Hyun-myung dared to make a move on Mo Qingyun. He was not worried that he would get into trouble. Seeing Chun Hyun-myung's behavior, Chinchyo Hongtu and the others were all displeased. Qin Xinming was too overbearing. Kid, I'll let you be arrogant. Let's see what you can do this time. Jing Qing was gloating when he saw the situation. He wanted to see Chun Hyun-myung teach Mo Qing a lesson. While Jing Qing was gloating, the other young men's moods were basically the same as his. They did not dare to disrespect Mo Qingyun because of Chinchyo Hongtu's interference. However, it did not mean that they did not think of using others to teach Mo Qingyun a lesson. Now that Chun Hyun-myung wanted to deal with Mo Qingyun, they could not be happier. Under everyone's gaze, Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain and said coldly, Chun Hyun-myung, you think too highly of yourself. You're not qualified to order me around. If you are really capable, you can make a move on me. Seeing Mo Qingyun's attitude, Chun Hyun-myung's face darkened and his body emitted a cold aura. He did not expect that the ant-like kid from back then would dare to oppose him. This huge psychological gap made him feel very uncomfortable. Before he came, he was still wondering if Mo Qingyun would be scared to the point of kneeling and begging for mercy when he saw him. He did not expect Mo Qingyun to have such an attitude after seeing him. You asked for it. Chun Hyun-myung suppressed the anger in his heart and stared coldly at Mo Qingyun. He said, although I can't kill you, I can still teach you a lesson. As soon as Chun Hyun-myung finished speaking, he moved and charged toward Mo Qingyun. Perhaps Qin Xinming had underestimated Mo Qingyun's cultivation base, so he hadn't used any mystic abilities this time. However, Chun Hyun-myung was an expert of the Daluo Golden Celestial stage after all. He emitted a powerful aura with every move he made. Get lost. Facing Chun Hyun-myung's attack, Mo Qingyun did not flinch at all. He raised his hand and met with Chun Hyun-myung's attack. Seeing that Mo Qingyun did not flinch, Chun Hyun-myung's face immediately turned cold and shouted, You're just at the golden body sculpting stage. You want to fight me head-on? You're courting death. In Chun Hyun-myung's opinion, Mo Qingyun's current action was basically no different from courting death. Bang! The two fists collided, and a loud sound suddenly erupted. A dazzling golden light bloomed. Then, under the impact of the impact, Chun Hyun-myung and Mo Qingyun both retreated slightly. They were evenly matched. Looking at the scene in front of them, Qinshou Hongtu and the rest were shocked. They were surprised by the result. With Mo Qingyun's cultivation in the golden celestial stage, he was able to fight Chun Hyun-myung head-on. They were evenly matched. This performance was too shocking. This guy can actually fight a Daluo golden celestial stage expert head-on. Looking at Mo Qingyun's performance, Jing Qing's face twitched. He was even more afraid of Mo Qingyun. With Mo Qingyun's cultivation in the golden celestial stage, he could fight a Daluo golden celestial stage expert. Jing Qing had better not provoke such a person. Mr. Mo once crushed Yang Tianfeng and the rest with his strength alone. He's not that easy to deal with. Recalling Mo Qingyun's previous deeds, Qinshou Hongtu smiled playfully and looked at Chun Hyun-myung sympathetically. Chun Hyun-myung's cultivation had just broken through to the Daluo golden celestial stage. He was not much stronger than Yang Tianfeng and the rest. Since Mo Qingyun could crush Yang Tianfeng and the rest, it would not be difficult to subdue Chun Hyun-myung now. Chun Hyun-myung did not let the family head intervene. I'm afraid he thinks that if the family head intervenes, he's deliberately protecting Mr. Mo. Actually, if he intervenes, he's actually protecting him. Looking at the scene in front of them, the few elders who knew Mo Qingyun's strength showed a mocking expression. Hearing the elders' words, Qinshou Hongtu smiled faintly and shook his head. Since Chun Hyun-myung is asking for it, why should we seek trouble? Let him do whatever he wants. It seemed like Qinshou Hongtu was still unhappy with Chun Hyun-myung's disrespect. Therefore, he knew that Chun Hyun-myung would not be able to defeat him, but he did not say anything to remind him. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Chun Hyun-myung's face turned green. He felt that he had lost a lot of face. He, a Daluo Golden Celestial, attacked someone of the Golden Celestial stage, but Mo Qingyun took him head-on. This was too embarrassing. This kid is merely of the Golden Celestial stage. How did he become so powerful? Did he hide his cultivation level? After fighting against Mo Qingyun head-on, Chun Hyun-myung was shocked. He realized that he had underestimated Mo Qingyun. He asked curiously, a few years ago, when I saw him, he was merely of the 5th level of the martial path. Even if he had encountered a heaven-defying opportunity, there was no way he could be of the Daluo Golden Celestial stage. What was the reason? Why did he become so powerful? Chun Hyun-myung's heart was full of confusion. He did not understand why Mo Qingyun was so terrifying. What? Are you scared? Didn't you say you wanted to destroy my cultivation level? Mo Qingyun sneered in disdain when he saw Qian Xuanming's solemn expression and that he had yet to make a move. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Chun Hyun-myung's face immediately twitched. His expression became ferocious, and he said angrily, "Kid, don't be too arrogant. It won't do you any good." Although Chun Hyun-myung was very angry, he did not attack immediately. He still looked at Mo Qingyun with a serious expression. "I thought you were very powerful. It turns out that you're just a talker." Seeing Chun Hyun-myung still not attacking, Mo Qingyun mocked him again. His expression became cold, and he said, "Since you're not attacking, I'll take the initiative." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he moved and rushed directly toward Chun Hyun-myung. Demon Fist, Shattering Star River. Mo Qingyun punched out. Suddenly, a terrifying immortal spiritual energy burst out and turned into a huge black fist. When the huge black fist was formed, it emitted a terrifying demonic aura and crushed toward Chun Hyun-myung. Facing Mo Qingyun's punch, Chun Hyun-myung did not dare to be careless. He immediately defended himself. Thousand Buddha Vajra Fist. Chun Hyun-myung shouted angrily. Suddenly, his body shone with golden light, and a dignified Buddha shadow appeared. After the Buddha shadow was formed, It frantically waved its Buddha hand toward the huge black fist shadow. In just a short moment, hundreds of golden fist shadows were formed in front of Chun Hyunmyeong. Bang, bang, bang. The golden fist shadows hit the huge black fist. Immediately, a loud sound was heard and a beautiful light bloomed. However, the huge black fist did not have any reaction to the bombardment of the golden fist shadows. On the contrary, the golden fist shadows exploded when they collided with the giant black fist. Not long after, under the bombardment of the huge black fist shadows, the hundreds of golden fist shadows were all destroyed. After destroying the hundreds of golden fist shadows, the huge black fist did not slow down and directly hit Chun Hyunmyeong. Bang! Under the bombardment of the huge black fist, Chun Hyunmyeong was directly sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this scene, Jing Qing and the others were shocked. They were frightened by the scene in front of them. They did not expect that with Chun Hyunmyeong's powerful cultivation, he would not be able to resist Mo Qingyun. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and directly appeared in front of Chun Hyunmyeong. "Get your ass over here." Coming in front of Chun Hyunmyeong, Mo Qingyun stretched out his hand and grabbed Chun Hyunmyeong. After Mo Qingyun captured Chun Hyunmyeong, he did not talk nonsense with Chun Hyunmyeong. He directly beat him up. Facing Mo Qingyun's overbearing bombardment, Chun Hyunmyeong was directly stunned. He even forgot to resist. His mind was blank. He could not believe this result. He had actually lost. Moreover, he had lost completely. Compared to the physical injuries, Chun Hyunmyeong's mental injuries were undoubtedly more severe. Boom, boom, boom. A series of muffled sounds could be heard. Behind these sounds, Qian Xuanming's injuries became more and more serious. After 10 minutes, Mo Qingyun finally threw Chun Hyunmyeong to the ground. Mo Qingyun tossed Qian Xianming to the ground, and then a faint smile appeared on the corners of his mouth. "If it wasn't for the Holy Maiden, I would have killed you right now." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone's expression immediately became strange. Their emotions became complicated. Chapter 1661. You crippled my cultivation base? Chun Hyunmyeong lay on the ground and looked at Mo Qingyun in shock as he sensed the spiritual energy in his body draining away. He did not expect that Mo Qingyun would dare to do such a thing in the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions. Chun Hyunmyeong's cultivation base was crippled. Upon hearing Chun Hyunmyeong's words, not only were Jing Qing and the others shocked, but so were Chinchio Hongtu and the others. Mo Qingyun's actions were too audacious. Although Chun Hyunmyeong was in the wrong, Chun Hyunmyeong was still a member of the 1,000 illusions. Mo Qingyun had crippled Chun Hyunmyeong's cultivation base in the 1,000 illusions territory. This was equivalent to choosing one of the 1,000 illusions. That was close. Luckily, I angered him. Otherwise, I would be in deep trouble. Seeing Chun Hyunmyeong's miserable state, Jing Qing's back was drenched in cold sweat. He could not help but feel a sense of relief. He knew very well that since Mo Qingyun dared to cripple Chun Hyunmyeong, he would dare to cripple Jing Qing's cultivation base. Jing Qing's status and background were far inferior to Chun Hyunmyeong's. Mr. Mo has crippled Chun Hyunmyeong's cultivation base. This is going to be troublesome. Seeing that Chun Hyunmyeong's cultivation base was crippled, Chinchio Hongtu's face was filled with anxiety and worry. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun's actions were equivalent to poking a hole in the sky. Although Chun Hyunmyeong was not a member of the inner clan, the Xianling lineage that he belonged to was extremely powerful. Their 1,000 Automansion strength could not be compared to the Xianling lineage. As such, even if Qian Xiaoqiao were to intervene, it might not be of any use if the Xianling faction were to blame him. More importantly, Chun Hyunmyeong was Qian Xiaoqiao's disciple. Now, Chun Hyunmyeong's cultivation had been crippled. If Qian Xiaoqiao didn't show up, the Dazzling Spirit faction would definitely be displeased, and their relationship with Qianqiu Manor would deteriorate. Mo Qingyun wasn't thinking as much as Chinchio Hongtu. His thoughts were simple. Chun Hyun Myung had provoked him time and time again. He had to teach Chun Hyun Myung a lesson. Besides, he and 1,000 illusions were going to fall out sooner or later. Crippling Chun Hyun Myung now was not a big deal. Scram! Glancing at Chun Hyun Myung in front of him, Mo Qingyun revealed a cold expression and shouted angrily at him. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Chun Hyun Myung didn't dare to stay any longer. He immediately walked out of the courtyard. Mo Qingyun, just you wait. I won't let this go so easily. Don't run away if you dare. Chun Hyun Myung left the courtyard and threatened Mo Qingyun. He didn't look like he was going to let this go. Chinchyo Hongtu's expression tensed up when he saw Chun Hyun Myung's reaction. He quickly walked to Mo Qingyun's side and said, "Mr. Mo, you're in big trouble this time." Mo Qingyun didn't respond to Chinchyo Hongtu's words. His expression didn't change at all. Seeing Mo Qingyun's silence, Chinchyo Hongtu hesitated for a moment before he said, "Mr. Mo, Chun Hyun Myung's background isn't as simple as it seems. You should leave this place as soon as possible before he finds someone to take revenge on you." "Thank you for your kindness, Patriarch Hongtu, but I can't leave this place yet." Upon hearing Chinchyo Hongtu's words, Mo Qingyun thanked him and said, "If I leave, Chun Hyun Myung will definitely vent his anger on Thousand Autumns Manor. That's not something I want to see." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Chinchyo Hongtu and the others' expressions changed. Their impression of Mo Qingyun became even better. At a time like this, Mo Qingyun was still thinking for Thousand Autumns Manor. This proved that they hadn't misjudged him. "Patriarch Hongtu, I still have to continue cultivating. I'll return to my room first." After Mo Qingyun said those words, he no longer hesitated and quickly returned to his room. It wasn't that Mo Qingyun hadn't considered crippling Chun Hyun Myung's cultivation and leaving the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions. However, he hadn't seen Long Han Yin yet. He really didn't want to give up so easily. Therefore, he decided to take a gamble. He was betting on whether he could resolve this matter. If he could resolve it, then it would naturally be for the best. If he couldn't resolve it, then he would have to take advantage of the situation. As long as he didn't encounter a Nine Heavens profound immortal realm expert, he was confident that he could keep his life. Taking a step back, even if his original body died here, it wouldn't be a big deal. Currently, his two identities were still in Thousand Spirit City. As long as his two clones were still here, even if his true body was killed, he could use the blood of Genesis to recreate his true body. In that case, he would just waste some time to recreate his true body. Therefore, no matter what the outcome was, Mo Qingyun could bear the consequences. It was precisely because of this that Mo Qingyun dared to follow Qianxiu Qiao to the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions without any fear. This is no small matter. Let's inform ancestor Qianxiu Qiao. Seeing Mo Qingyun enter the room, Chinchyo Hongtu and the others discussed and immediately came to a decision. In their opinion, only Chinchyo Qiao had the ability to resolve this matter. Chinchyo Hongtu and the others discussed and no longer hesitated. They immediately went to find Chinchyo Qiao. After a short while, Chinchyo Hongtu and the others found Chinchyo Qiao and told him what had just happened. What? Mo Qingyun crippled Chun Hyun Myung's cultivation? Chinchyo Qiao was shocked when he heard Chinchyo Hongtu and the others' words. His face was instantly filled with coldness. As far as she was concerned, Mo Qingyun was causing trouble for her, and it was extremely troublesome. Where is Mo Qingyun now? Chinchyo Qiao's face was as cold as ice. She stood up from her chair and asked coldly. Chinchyo Hongtu and the others panicked when they heard Chinchyo Qiao's question. They quickly replied, "Ancestor, Mr. Mo is still in his room in the side courtyard. We advised him to leave just now, but he insisted on staying here because he didn't want to cause trouble for the Chinchyo mansion. At least he still has some conscience." Chinchyo Qiao's expression softened when she heard Chinchyo Hongtu's words. Her anger toward Mo Qingyun lessened. It seemed that Mo Qingyun had caused a lot of trouble, but at least he was a decent person. "Come, let's go." Knowing that Mo Qingyun was still in the side courtyard, Qianqiu Qiao did not hesitate and immediately rushed to Mo Qingyun's residence. Soon, Qianqiu Qiao arrived at the courtyard to find a way to resolve this matter. When Qianqiu Qiao arrived at the courtyard, Chen Hyunmyung brought a group of people with him. These people should be from the Xianling faction. Master, you're here. Chen Hyunmyung was pleasantly surprised when he saw Qianqiu Qiao. He immediately walked over to Qianqiu Qiao. Qianqiu Qiao's expression turned serious when she saw Chen Hyunmyung approaching. She said to Chen Hyunmyung, "Xian Ming, let your people go back first. We'll discuss this matter slowly." Master, let my people go back? You're not going to protect Mo Qingyun, are you? Chen Hyunmyung's expression froze when he heard Qianqiu Qiao's words. He looked displeased and said, "If that's the case, then please forgive me for not being able to agree to your request. Today, I must cripple Mo Qingyun's cultivation. Xian Ming, if you still treat me as your master, then do as I say right now." Qianqiu Qiao's expression darkened when she saw Chen Hyunmyung's reaction. She ordered Chen Hyunmyung to do as she said. Chen Hyunmyung's expression froze when he heard Qianqiu Qiao's words. He looked hesitant. Revenge? Or obey his master's orders? Master, please forgive me. I'm unable to agree to your request. Chen Hyunmyung hesitated for a moment before he made his decision. He could not let Mo Qingyun off. Even if he had to betray his master, he had to take revenge for his cultivation being crippled. You! Qianqiu Qiao's expression turned cold when she saw Chen Hyunmyung's actions. She was so angry that she started trembling. Chen Hyunmyung actually dared to disobey her orders in front of so many people. Seeing Chen Hyunmyung's actions, Qianqiu Qiao immediately understood how important she was to Chen Hyunmyung. From the looks of it, Mo Qingyun's current situation had become her touchstone. After this incident, she had seen through Chen Hyunmyung's true nature. Once a person like him had the ability, he would become arrogant and self-opinionated. At this thought, Qianqiu Qiao stopped talking. She reminded Chen Hyunmyung, "Since you insist, I won't try to persuade you anymore. I hope you won't regret your actions today." Qianqiu Qiao knew that Chen Hyunmyung and the others couldn't do anything to Mo Qingyun. However, with Mo Qingyun's talent, if the Xianling faction offended him, it would be a terrifying thing. At this moment, Qianqiu Qiao could almost foresee the decline of the Xianling faction in the near future. Seeing that Qianqiu Qiao didn't stop him, Chen Hyunmyung walked toward the Xianling faction and followed them to Mo Qingyun's room. Boom! When they arrived at Mo Qingyun's room, Chen Hyunmyung smashed the door and saw Mo Qingyun in the room. Seeing Chen Hyunmyung, Mo Qingyun wasn't surprised. He smiled faintly and said, "Chen Hyunmyung, I didn't kill you last time because of the Saintess. Don't think that I don't dare to kill you." Mo Qingyun knew that with Chen Hyunmyung's personality, he wouldn't let this go. Since that was the case, he didn't mind killing Chen Hyunmyung to end this once and for all. When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, a young man with a single horn by Qian Xuanming's side had a cold expression on his face. "Kid, you sure talk big. I like to see how you intend to touch a member of my Xianling lineage." Rhino Dragon Breaking Sky Horn. The one-horned youth roared and charged at Mo Qingyun like a raging bull. As the youth charged forward, a burst of immortal spiritual energy erupted from his body and condensed into the image of a huge bull. In front of the ox shadow, there was a huge ox horn that flashed with lightning. Seeing the one-horned youth's attack, Mo Qingyun didn't retreat and punched back. Suddenly, a huge black fist formed on Mo Qingyun's fist. As soon as the black fist appeared, it flew towards the Luai's bull horn and collided with it. "Watch out, Qian Xinkong." When he saw this scene, Qian Xianming was shocked, and he immediately warned the one-horned young man. With the battle experience just now, he was very clear just how terrifying Mo Qingyun's punch was. However, his words were still too late. Boom! A loud sound was heard. The one-horned youth was sent flying by Mo Qingyun's punch. Chapter 1662. Bang! 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 After being struck by Mo Qingyun's punch, Qin Shi Kong smashed into a row of houses, causing a series of sounds to ring out. At the same time, the ruins of the collapsed houses buried Qin Shi Kong. Seeing that Qin Shi Kong was sent flying by Mo Qin Yun, Chun Hyun Myung and the others were immediately shocked and ran towards Qin Shi Kong. This kid has already grown to this extent. Seeing Mo Qin Yun's current performance, Qian Xiaoqiao was shocked and her chest heaved up and down. This was the first time she had seen Mo Qin Yun display his current strength. Not long after, Chun Hyun Myung and the others dug Qin Shi Kong out. Qin Shi Kong, how are you? Everyone helped Qin Shi Kong up and looked quite nervous as they asked about his situation. It was obvious that one of Qin Xuankong's arms had been crippled by Mo Qin Yun. Brother Xining, this kid crippled Xin Ming and Xin Kong. You must not let him off. That's right. This kid is too arrogant. He must be taught a lesson. No matter how strong this kid is, he is no match for Brother Xining. That's right. Brother Xining is a rare genius of our Xianling lineage. Seeing that Qin Xuankong's arm was crippled, Chun Hyun Myung's helpers encouraged Qin Shi Kong to attack. Their strength was about the same as Qin Shi Kong. Since Qin Shi Kong was no match for Mo Qin Yun, they were naturally the same. Now, the only person who could deal with Mo Qin Yun was Qin Shi Kong. Qin Xuankong's strength was not bad and was about the same as Lian Hong's. He was not far from the quasi-grand unity, mystic, immortal realm. Hearing the words of the people around him, Qin Shi Kong hesitated for a moment and considered whether he should attack. He was not interested in whether Qin Shi Kong and Chun Hyun Myung lived or died. It did not matter if the two of them died. What he was worried about was that his identity would be exposed after he fought with Mo Qin Yun, which would affect their clan's grand plan. Qin Xining slowly walked over under everyone's expectant gazes. He glanced at Mo Qin Yun and said, "Kid, I originally disdained to lay a hand on you, but since you dare to harm a member of my Xianling lineage, I can only teach you a lesson and let you understand that there are some people you cannot afford to offend." After some consideration, Qin Xining decided to make a move. He was the #1 genius of the Xianling lineage. He couldn't just stand by and watch his clansmen get hurt. If he didn't react at all, it might affect his reputation in the Xianling faction. "I'm sorry, but none of you are like that." Mo Qin Yun did not care about Qin Xining's words at all and retorted. Qin Xining's face sank when he heard Mo Qin Yun's retort. He gave off a powerful aura and said, "Kid, you successfully infuriated me. This is very unfortunate news." Everyone's faces immediately sank under Qin Xining's aura. They felt an intense pressure. This Qin Xining's bloodline is so strange. It doesn't seem to be a pure 1,000 illusions bloodline. Qin Xiaoqiao was stunned when she sensed Qin Xining's aura. She became confused and said, "Although his bloodline doesn't seem very pure, it's much stronger, sharper, and more domineering than the bloodline of the 1,000 illusions." In just a short while, Qin Xiaoqiao discovered that Qin Xining was different from the 1,000 illusions. However, she was unable to pinpoint exactly what was different about him. While Qin Xiaoqiao was puzzled, Mo Qin Yun sensed Qin Xining's bloodline, and a wave of shock surged in his heart. He said in surprise, This bloodline power seems to be." Indeed, Qin Xining's bloodline power gave Mo Qin Yun the same feeling as Xian Xiao and the others. This meant that Qin Xining was very likely a member of the Dark Demon race. This meant that the Dark Demon race's hand had already reached into the 1,000 illusions. This discovery gave Mo Qin Yun quite a fright. He didn't expect the Dark Demon race to make such a big move just as Mo Qin Yun was about to forget about them. If that was the case, it would be too dangerous for Long Hanyin to stay in the 1,000 illusions. He had to take Long Hanyin away as soon as possible. Only then would he be able to relax. Eagle Eye's soul peck. Qin Xining stared at Mo Qin Yun. His eyes flashed with black light as a terrifying soul power burst out. The soul power burst out and turned into a ray of black light that shot into Mo Qin Yun's head. Everyone was shocked when they saw Qian Xianying's attack. Their hearts immediately tensed up. Qian Xianying's attack didn't seem to cause much of a commotion, but it was domineering and ferocious. If Mo Qingyun couldn't take it, his soul would very likely dissipate under Qian Xianying's attack. Sealed door. Facing Qian Xianying's soul attack, Mo Qingyun didn't dare to hold back and immediately sealed the soul power. After being attacked by the sealed door, Qian Xianying's soul power was immediately weakened, and his aura was no longer as fierce. At the same time, Qian Xianying's face twitched and cold sweat appeared on his forehead. His aura began to weaken. Everyone's expressions involuntarily shook when they saw Qian Xianying's performance, and they revealed a shocked expression. From the current situation, it seemed that Qian Xianying's attack on Mo Qingyun had not only failed to gain any benefits, it seemed that he had suffered quite a bit. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Mo Qingyun's expression was still calm as he countered Qian Xianying's soul attack. When Mo Qingyun countered, a terrifying aura spread out from his body. Under the envelopment of this aura, the hearts of the surrounding people trembled, and they had an impulse to worship. Saint's might. He actually has saint's might. Sensing Mo Qingyun's saint's might, Qian Xiao's expression trembled, and he became completely flustered. He thought to himself in shock, no, impossible. He's only someone from a subsidiary continent. How can he have saint's might? What kind of things did he go through in the past few years? At this moment, Qian Xiao's heart was filled with doubt. He was filled with curiosity towards Mo Qingyun's experiences. Under the suppression of the saint's might, Qian Xianying's soul power continued to weaken, and he was quickly killed by Mo Qingyun. Demonic soul, seizing soul. After scattering Qian Xianying's soul power, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and immediately counterattacked. A terrifying soul power formed above Qian Xianying and condensed into a giant eye. When this eye formed, it released a terrifying, devouring power that began to devour Qian Xianying's soul. Arg! Being devoured by the huge eyeball, Qian Xianying immediately let out a miserable shriek, and his expression became distorted. Seeing Qian Xianying's miserable state, everyone's hearts trembled, and their reverence for Mo Qingyun reached the extreme. Although this brat's cultivation wasn't high, his methods were simply too terrifying. Mo Qingyun's soul power is actually comparable to a soul formation expert. Qian Xiao's expression trembled. He felt that Mo Qingyun was even more unfamiliar. At this moment, the Mo Qingyun in his impression no longer existed. Right now, Mo Qingyun gave him the feeling that he was a mysterious and monstrous genius who was shrouded in mist. This brat is currently dealing with Qian Xianying's brother. He definitely won't be able to divert his attention to others. Quickly attack him. Seeing Mo Qingyun attack Qian Xianying, Chen Hyunmyung's expression turned cold as he instructed Qian Xiankong and the others. Hearing Chen Hyunmyung's words, Qian Xiankong and the others' expressions changed. They felt that Chen Hyunmyung's words made sense. Qian Xiankong and the others didn't hesitate and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Seeing how excited Qian Xiankong and the others were, Qian Xiao's expression turned cold. He was very dissatisfied with their actions. Mo Qingyun and Qian Xianying were fighting one-on-one, but they had taken advantage of Mo Qingyun's precarious situation to launch a sneak attack. At this moment, without waiting for Qian Xiao to intervene, a terrifying aura exploded from Mo Qingyun's body and crushed towards Qian Xiankong and the others. The moment the aura exploded, a terrifying wave of immortal spiritual energy turned into a huge palm and slapped Qian Xiankong and the others. Bang, bang, bang. Under the attack of the huge palm, Qian Xiankong and the others were instantly sent flying. They fell to the ground with heavy injuries and spat out mouthfuls of blood. A Grand Unity Xian Immortal Realm Expert. He has a Grand Unity Xian Immortal Realm Expert protecting him. Qian Xiankong and the others fell to the ground with heavy injuries. Their faces were filled with shock as they spoke in terror. This situation was far beyond their expectations. How could I have forgotten about that? Hearing Qian Xinkong and the others' words, Qian Xiu Qiao's expression changed and revealed a look of understanding. Back in the Thousand Autumn Mansion, she had sensed the aura of a grand unity Qian immortal from Mo Qingyun. Because of this, she didn't dare to attack Mo Qingyun and had endured Mo Qingyun for a long time. Mo Qingyun ordered Ao Li to attack and send Qian Xinkong and the others flying while he focused on dealing with Qian Xianying. Under the devouring of the huge eyeball, Qian Xianying's divine soul became weaker and weaker. His aura also became more chaotic. Not only that, but as Qian Xianying's aura became chaotic, his bloodline also became chaotic. It was as if his original bloodline was being forcefully suppressed by some kind of power. Now that the power had lost control and was no longer suppressing his original bloodline seemed to be resisting. Seeing Qian Xianying's change, the surrounding people were shocked and gradually realized that something was wrong. If Qian Xianying's bloodline had mutated, then even if his bloodline became chaotic, it wouldn't be dominated by another bloodline. It was obvious that Qian Xianying's bloodline had been obtained at a later stage. From the current situation, it seemed that Qian Xianying's 1,000 illusions bloodline had been forcefully fused at a later stage. Qian Xianying's 1,000 illusions bloodline was forcefully fused at a later stage. Could he be? After discovering that Qian Xianying's bloodline wasn't right, Qian Xiu Qiao was shocked and realized a possibility. Qian Xianying's true identity was very likely to be a member of the Dark Devil clan. Thinking of this, Qian Xiu Qiao didn't hesitate and immediately captured Qian Xianying. He said to Mo Qingyun emotionally, "Mo Qingyun, you've helped 1,000 illusions greatly. I'll take Qian Xianying and leave now. I'll thank you later." Chapter 1663. Master Yu. Chun Hyun-myung was shocked when he saw Qian Xiuqiao's actions. He immediately shouted at Qian Xiuqiao. Unfortunately, Qian Xiuqiao chose to ignore his words. Before long, Qian Xiuqiao's figure disappeared from everyone's sight. Mo Qingyun smiled when he saw Qian Xiuqiao's actions. It seems like Qian Xiuqiao already knows that Qian Xianying is a member of the Dark Demon clan. That means the Xianling faction won't be in the mood to deal with me. When Mo Qingyun thought of this, a satisfied smile appeared on his face, and his heart relaxed. Mo Qingyun glanced at Qian Xianming and the others, and then his expression turned cold and indifferent as he shouted, "All of you, fuck off right now. Could it be that you wanted to toss all of you out? You?" Chun Hyun-myung's expression darkened when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He glared at Mo Qingyun and snorted, "Mo Qingyun, this isn't over yet. Just wait and see." After Qian Xianming said those words, he and the rest of the illusionary spirit lineage dejectedly left the courtyard. Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer when he saw Chun Hyun-myung and the others leave. He turned around and walked back to his room. When Mo Qingyun returned to his room, Chinchou Hongtu and the others sighed with emotion. Their evaluation of Mo Qingyun rose even higher. They didn't expect Chun Hyun-myung and the others to return empty-handed, even though they had come in such a threatening manner. Judging from Qian Xiuqiao's actions, he must have realized that something was wrong with Qian Xianying and decided to hand him over to the Xianling faction. As a result, the Xianling faction was in a bad situation because of Qian Xianying. Because of Qian Xianying, I'm afraid no one will make things difficult for Mr. Mo. Thinking of this, Chiaki Hongtu could not help but sigh. He was impressed by Mo Qingyun's luck and said, "Mr. Mo, you really are a man of great luck. Who would have thought that such a terrible situation would turn around in the blink of an eye?" Chinchou Hongtu and the others sighed. They didn't stay any longer and returned to their rooms. Seeing that everyone had left, Jing Qing and the others also prepared to return to their rooms. However, when they saw their own rooms, they immediately looked like they wanted to cry, but had no tears. As Mo Qingyun and the others fought, The house they lived in had already been reduced to ruins. In that case, wouldn't they have no place to stay? The person who was fighting just now was clearly Mo Qingyun, all right? Why were they the ones injured? Such a depressing thought sprouted in the hearts of Jing Qing and the others, making them feel very wronged. Although they were very depressed and unhappy, they did not dare to provoke Mo Qingyun. After seeing how powerful Mo Qingyun was, they would not dare to disrespect Mo Qingyun even if they were given 10 guts. Not to mention whether they were a match for Mo Qingyun, just the fact that Mo Qingyun had a Grand Unity Xian Immortal Realm expert was enough to scare them half to death. After all, there was not a single Grand Unity Xian Immortal Realm expert in their entire clan. Jing Qing and the others had no choice but to find a secluded corner and sit cross-legged to rest in it. Mo Qingyun knew nothing about what happened to Jing Qing and the others. Of course, even if Mo Qingyun knew about the situation Jing Qing and the others were in, he wouldn't bother with them. Mo Qingyun returned to his room. In a flash, he entered the 5 directions small pagoda to cultivate. After Mo Qingyun entered the 5 directions small pagoda, he began to cultivate the profound purity scripture and continued to convert the immortal spiritual energy in his body. After this period of cultivation and fighting with others, he realized that the grade of the profound purity spiritual energy was not something that ordinary spiritual energy could compare to. Mo Qingyun was sure that as long as he cultivated the profound purity scripture to the 3rd stage, his strength would definitely multiply. Next, Mo Qingyun cultivated the profound purity scripture while waiting for Qian Xiuqiao's arrival. In order to be able to detect Qian Xiuqiao's arrival in time, Mo Qingyun left Ao Li in the room. Time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed. Qian Xiuqiao, who had not been heard from for several days, finally arrived outside Mo Qingyun's room. "Mr. Mo, the Saintess wants to see you. Please come with me." Standing outside Mo Qingyun's room, Qian Xiuqiao sent a message to Mo Qingyun, explaining his intentions. Hearing Qian Xiuqiao's words, Ao Li immediately sent a message to Mo Qingyun, telling him that Qian Xiuqiao had arrived. "The Saintess of the 1,000 Illusions wants to see me." Hearing Ao Li's message, Mo Qingyun's expression changed into one of shock. He said, "It's good to see her. Let me know what Han Yan's true body looks like." After this cultivation, I've cultivated the 2nd stage of the profound purity scripture to 20%. Mo Qingyun made a decision in his heart. He sensed his cultivation progress again and revealed a faint smile. Based on my current speed, I might be able to finish cultivating the 2nd level of the Xian Qing scripture in another month. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he moved and switched identities with Ao Li. Coming out of the 5 directional towers, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any time. He opened the door and walked out. "Let's go." Seeing Qian Xiuqiao outside the room, Mo Qingyun nodded at her, indicating for her to lead the way. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Xiuqiao didn't say anything else and led the way for Mo Qingyun. Qian Xiuqiao was the Saintess servant. Her status in the 1,000 Illusions wasn't simple. As the saying went, there were 7 ranks in front of the Prime Minister. As the Saintess servant, no one dared to offend her. Of course, Qian Huarong, who had the same status as Qian Xiuqiao, wasn't one of those people. Along the way, Qian Xiuqiao and Ao Li were unobstructed. No one dared to stop Qian Xiuqiao. After a while, under Qian Xiuqiao's guidance, Mo Qingyun arrived at Dongting Lake. The lake wasn't big. It was only the size of 10 soccer fields. There were some strange flowers and plants growing in it. On the surface of the lake, there were some small paths, wooden bridges, and pavilions. It made the lake look very elegant. In one of the pavilions in the middle of the lake, a quiet woman was sitting there, leisurely cutting tea. Mo Qingyun roughly guessed her identity when he saw her. She must be the Saintess of the 1,000 Illusions. Mo Qingyun looked at the woman in front of him and didn't say anything else. He followed Qian Xiuqiao and walked toward her. "Saintess, Mr. Mo is here." Qian Xiao bowed respectfully to the saintess of the 1,000 illusions. Hearing Qian Xiao's words, the saintess of the 1,000 illusions turned her head and looked at Mo Qingyun. She said, "Mr. Mo, please have a seat. Try Linglong's tea." When the woman looked at Mo Qingyun also saw her face. He was stunned. Although Qian Linglong and Long Hanyin looked the same, their auras were very different. If Long Hanyin was a pretty girl from a humble family, then Qian Linglong was a fairy from the 9 heavens. She gave people a refreshing and otherworldly feeling. It was an indescribable feeling. Once you saw her, you would never be able to touch her. Okay, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate. He nodded and sat down on the stone bench. He took the tea that Qian Linglong handed to him. Mo Qingyun took a sip. He immediately felt a shocking amount of spiritual energy flowing from his mouth into his body. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun's expression suddenly changed. He looked at Qian Linglong with a shocked expression. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Qian Linglong smiled faintly. She explained to Mo Qingyun slowly, "Mr. Mo, this tea is called a 9-world 3-coin leaf. In the 9 worlds of the wild continent, only 3 coins can be harvested every 3,000 years. It took me a lot of effort to get it. It is so precious." Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun was shocked again. He realized how precious this tea was. To put it bluntly, this tea was even more precious than the primordial spiritual dew. "Mr. Mo, the saintess rarely takes this out. I have only seen her take it out 3 times. Qian Xiao seemed to be worried that Mo Qingyun wasn't shocked enough. She emphasized the preciousness and rarity of this tea. She said, "You should cultivate and refine the power of this tea now. It can help you condense your soul." Hearing this, Mo Qingyun didn't think too much about it. He immediately started to cultivate and condense his spiritual soul. As Mo Qingyun started to cultivate, he realized that his spiritual energy was being purified by a force. This change didn't make his soul stronger, but it made his spiritual energy purer. Mo Qingyun's spiritual soul had been enhanced by devouring other people's spiritual souls. Although his spiritual soul had been enhanced very quickly, it had made his spiritual soul impure. If this went on for a long time, there would be some hidden dangers. Now, with the help of the 3-coin leaf of the 9 realms, his spiritual soul had been purified. This had resolved his hidden dangers. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had started to cultivate, Qian Linglong and Qian Xiao didn't disturb him. They waited silently at the side. Looking at Mo Qingyun, Qian Linglong's eyes kept changing. Sometimes they were infatuated, sometimes pure, sometimes cold, and sometimes confused. After a long time, Mo Qingyun woke up from his cultivation. He cupped his fists at Qian Linglong and said, "Thank you for the tea, Miss Linglong. I will remember this kindness." "Mr. Mo, you are welcome." Qian Linglong shook her head indifferently in response to Mo Qingyun's gratitude. She said, "You and I are old friends. It is not a big deal for me to treat you to a cup of tea." Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun's expression became serious. He stared at Qian Xiao and said, "Miss Linglong, you are being too serious. I am just a kid at the golden celestial stage. You are treating me to such precious tea. I am afraid you have some requirements." "Young Master Mo, don't tell me you can't see Hanyin's shadow in me?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's cold words, Qian Linglong's eyes were filled with resentment. She said those words as if she had been wronged. "Yes, but you can't generalize." Mo Qingyun didn't deny Qian Linglong's question. However, he didn't completely agree with her. Mo Qingyun replied to Qian Linglong. Then, his expression became serious. He said, "Miss Linglong, since you know the relationship between Han Yin and me, what do you want me to do for you to agree to let me take Han Yin away?" "Take Han Yin away?" Chapter 1664. "Miss Linglong, what do you mean?" Mo Qingyun raised his eyebrows and showed a puzzled expression. He wanted Qian Linglong to explain. Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of her, Qian Linglong's eyes flashed with a trace of confusion. She could not help but sigh and said, "Sigh, I have cultivated the thousand illusion scripture for millions of years. Who would have thought that at the most crucial moment, my mind would be affected by a doppelganger? Now, between Hanyin and I, there is no such thing as a doppelganger and a doppelganger. So that's how it is." Mo Qingyun was shocked. He immediately became nervous and asked, "Could it be that you and Han Yin have already?" Looking at the nervous Qingyun, Qian Linglong smiled faintly and shook her head. She said, "Don't worry, I have not merged with her. Now, she is still in the 1,000 illusions. If you want to see her, you can go and find her later." "You're not stopping me?" Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun was shocked again. He was very surprised by this situation. Outsiders had always heard that if the doppelganger of a person in the 1,000 illusions fell in love, the original body would definitely kill the person the doppelganger fell in love with. From the looks of it, the current situation was completely different from the rumors. It seemed that rumors were always rumors and could not be completely believed. "Stop me." Qian Linglong's beautiful eyes turned and revealed a playful expression. She smiled at Mo Qingyun and said, "Originally, I did want to stop you. However, after I saw you, I changed my mind." Mo Qingyun was puzzled. Qian Linglong's current behavior was very different from what he had imagined. In his mind, Qian Linglong should be solemn and serious, just like a queen. However, in reality, Qian Linglong was a playful and cute girl. She gave people a very lively feeling. "Thank you, Miss Linglong." Seeing that Qian Linglong didn't stop him, Mo Qingyun's expression turned joyful. He immediately cupped his hands and thanked Qian Linglong. He said eagerly, "Since it's like this, I asked Miss Linglong to let me see Han Yin. Don't you want to stay with me for a while?" Qian Linglong winked at Mo Qingyun mischievously. Her eyes had a hint of hidden bitterness. This, Mo Qingyun was stunned, and a trace of embarrassment appeared on his face. He did not know how to answer her. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Qian Linglong did not ask any more questions. She changed the topic and asked, "Mr. Mo, is my doppelganger? Is it also with you? You know about this?" Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He was very surprised. Qian Linglong knew that Qian Xiao had taken Long Hanyin away. However, not many people knew that Murong Qinyu was with him. Now, Qian Linglong's words really surprised him. Looking at the surprised Mo Qingyun, Qian Linglong smiled and explained to Mo Qingyun, "You don't have to be surprised. I have a connection with my doppelganger. I can feel that one of my doppelganger is nearby. This must have something to do with you." "I see." After Qian Linglong's explanation, Mo Qingyun's face showed that he understood the reason. Seeing that Mo Qingyun did not deny it, Qian Linglong turned her eyes and asked Mo Qingyun, "Mr. Mo, since you have a doppelganger with you, can you let her out to see me?" Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun immediately hesitated. With Qian Linglong's powerful cultivation, if she saw Murong Qinyu and forcefully detained Murong Qinyu, he would not be able to do anything. Seeing Mo Qingyun's hesitation, Qian Linglong guessed Mo Qingyun's thoughts and promised, "Mr. Mo, don't worry. I just want her to see me. I won't forcefully detain her. Let me ask Qinyu." Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qinyu nodded and began to communicate with Murong Qinyu. Mo Qingyun believed that with Qian Linglong's identity, she would not lie to him. If she really wanted to forcefully detain Mo Qingyun, she could use force on Mo Qingyun. Under her attack, Mo Qingyun could not resist at all. Hearing Mo Qingyun's explanation, Murong Qinyu immediately made a decision. She wanted to see Qian Linglong. After a while, Murong Qinyu left the five-directional pagoda and appeared in front of Qian Linglong. For a moment, the two women looked at each other, and no one spoke. "Qingyun, send me back to the five-directional pagoda." After looking at Qian Linglong, Murong Qinyu turned her head and looked at Mo Qingyun. She did not want to stay any longer. Hearing this, Mo Qingyun nodded at Murong Qinyu and sent her into the five-directional pagoda. Qian Linglong did not stop Mo Qingyun's actions and let Mo Qingyun send Murong Qingyu away. Miss Linglong, can you let me see Hanyan now? After sending Murong Qingyu into the 5-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer and asked Qian Linglong again. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong's face revealed a bitter expression. She looked at Mo Qingyun and said, Mr. Mo, Han Yin is in Dongting Lake. Whether you can find her or not depends on your ability. Thank you. Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun's face immediately lit up, and he cupped his hands at Qian Linglong. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, his figure flashed, and he flew toward the stone cave beside Dongting Lake. When Mo Qingyun came here, he sensed the existence of the 9 temples. It was just that he did not contact the 9 temples. Now that Qian Linglong did not stop him, he naturally did not need to hide. He could directly find Long Hanyan. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Qian Linglong's pretty face changed, and her eyes were filled with surprise. She did not expect Mo Qingyun to be able to find Long Hanyan in an instant. After a short moment of shock, Qian Linglong's expression returned to normal, and she revealed a thoughtful expression. Saintess, why did you agree to let Mo Qingyun see Long Hanyan? Seeing Qian Linglong's action, Qian Xiuqiao was puzzled. She was surprised by the situation. She clearly remembered that when she suggested this to Qian Linglong had sternly rejected her. Hearing Qian Xiuqiao's words, Qian Linglong revealed a trace of confusion. She could not help but sigh and said, I also do not know why. After I saw him, my emotions were unconsciously affected by Long Hanyan and Murong Qingyu. Qian Xiuqiao was shocked. She originally thought that Qian Linglong was just joking with Mo Qingyun. She did not expect it to be true. She did not expect that Qian Linglong's state of mind would be affected by the 2 clones. It was unbelievable. If I did not see it with my own eyes, I would find it hard to believe that my 2 clones would fall in love with the same person. Under Qian Xiuqiao's shocked gaze, Qian Linglong looked at the stone cave in front of her and sighed with emotion. When Qian Linglong was speaking, her pair of beautiful eyes unconsciously revealed a trace of envy. Looking at Qian Linglong's current behavior, it seemed like she wanted to replace Long Hanyan. Seeing Qian Linglong's action, Qian Xiuqiao's beautiful eyebrows slightly wrinkled. With a dignified expression, she asked, Saintess, could it be that you really plan to let Mo Qingyun be together with Long Hanyan and Murong Qingyu? I do not know either. Hearing Qian Xiuqiao's words, Qian Linglong shook her head in confusion and said, Mo Qingyun's talent is extraordinary. If he can really reach that level, I am willing to be by his side forever. Holy lady, do you also have feelings for Mo Qingyun? Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Qian Xiuqiao's eyes widened. She felt that her brain was not enough to process this. In her opinion, no matter how talented Mo Qingyun was, it was not enough for Qian Linglong to fall in love with him. Qian Xiuqiao was puzzled and said, Holy lady, although Mo Qingyun has the heavenly soul demon bloodline, he is still far from being worthy of you. Of course, he is not qualified now. If he wants me to fall in love with him, he has to be at least a master of civilization. Hearing Qian Xiuqiao's words, Qian Linglong shook her head and rejected Qian Xiuqiao's view. She said, however, with Mo Qingyun's talent, if he can reach the peak, he might be able to become the new master of civilization. Master of civilization? Qian Xiuqiao's body trembled and her heart started to beat faster. She said in shock, Isn't that a legendary existence? Does such an expert really exist? Of course. Qian Linglong's face was solemn as she gave Qian Xiuqiao an affirmative answer. She said the world is vast. The places that we have seen are not even considered small. After hearing Qian Linglong's words, Qian Xiuqiao was stunned. She felt that her worldview had collapsed. She had always thought that the entire divine wasteland domain was vast and boundless. She did not expect that the vast world in her eyes could not even be considered small place. At this moment, while Qian Linglong and Qian Xiuqiao were talking, Mo Qingyun had arrived at Long Hanyan's residence. Mo Qingyun walked into the stone cave and saw a familiar figure. He could not help but feel excited. The figure was Long Hanyin. Hanyin, looking at the familiar figure in front of him, Mo Qingyun revealed an excited expression and called out Long Hanyin's name. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyin's delicate body immediately trembled, and she turned her head with an excited expression. When Long Hanyin saw Mo Qingyun, her eyes immediately became wet. She cried tears of joy and said, "Qingyun, is that you? Am I dreaming?" After a few years, she finally met Mo Qingyun again. After a short moment of surprise, Long Hanyin threw herself into Mo Qingyun's arms and hugged Mo Qingyun tightly. Seeing Long Hanyin's action, Mo Qingyun revealed a happy smile and hugged Long Hanyin tightly. He really hoped that this moment could last forever. Strength. Everything depends on strength. Holding Long Hanyin in his arms, Mo Qingyun's desire for strength suddenly became stronger. If he possessed formidable strength, he could directly bring Long Hanyin away without having to have any misgivings. After hugging Mo Qingyun for a while, Long Hanyin's face blushed. She struggled out of Mo Qingyun's arms and asked softly, "Is everyone okay?" "Everyone is fine. We're just waiting for you to go back and reunite with everyone." Hearing Long Hanyin's question, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and walked to a stone bridge with Long Hanyin. Long Hanyin walked to the stone bridge and sat down. Her feet dangled over the edge of the bridge, and she said, "Tell me about what happened in the past few years." "Okay." Mo Qingyun nodded. He sat down beside Long Hanyin and began to tell her about the recent events. Chapter 1665. It was a moonlit night in the west. The silver moonlight shone on the bridge, casting two shadows on the bridge. They were Mo Qingyun and Long Hanyin. Long Hanyin giggled as the two of them talked. Sometimes she looked shy, and sometimes she looked nervous. It seemed like she was listening to Mo Qingyun's story as if she was there. Time passed quietly as the two of them chatted. Qian Xiao walked over and said to Mo Qingyun in a deep voice, "Mr. Mo, it's getting late. You should leave." Mo Qingyun looked up at the sky when he heard Qian Xiao's words. He looked reluctant to leave. He had just met Long Hanyin, and they had a lot to talk about. He really did not want to leave now. Mo Qingyun looked serious when he heard Qian Xiao's words. He said, "Senior, I want to see Miss Linglong. Please lead the way." "You want to see the saint?" Qian Xiao frowned when he heard Mo Qingyun's request. He looked like he was in a difficult position. Qian Xiao thought for a while and nodded. He brought Mo Qingyun to see Qian Linglong. "Let's go together," Mo Qingyun said to Long Hanyin when he saw Qian Xiao leading the way. He gestured for Long Hanyin to go with him. Long Hanyin nodded and followed Mo Qingyun to see Qian Linglong. Qian Linglong did not live far away. They soon arrived with Qian Xiao leading the way. When they arrived at Qian Linglong's place, Qian Xiao went to report Mo Qingyun's arrival. Qian Linglong soon arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and asked, "Mr. Mo, why are you looking for me?" Mo Qingyun did not beat around the bush when he saw Qian Linglong. He said, "Miss Linglong, I'm here for a simple reason. Please let Hanyin leave with me." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong's pretty face immediately turned serious. She shook her head at Mo Qingyun and said, "Young Master Mo, didn't I tell you earlier? I can't agree to your request." Mo Qingyun knew Qian Linglong would say that, so he was not surprised. He continued to persuade Qian Linglong, "Miss Linglong, you should know that the dark demon race has already reached into the 1,000 illusions. As the saintess of the 1,000 illusions, you must be their first target. You can't deny this, right?" Qian Linglong and Qian Xiao remained silent. They could not refute Mo Qingyun's words. Seeing that Qian Linglong and Mo Qingyun didn't say anything, Mo Qingyun continued, "You're strong. They can't deal with you, so they'll definitely attack your clone. That way, Hanyin's situation will be very dangerous, so she'll be safer with me." "It sounds reasonable. I can't find a reason to refute it." Qian Linglong looked at Mo Qingyun bitterly when she heard Mo Qingyun's words. She said, "Mr. Mo, as the saying goes, love me, love my dog. I am Han Yan's real body. Aren't you worried about my safety at all?" "I am worried. If you can't handle it, I can't handle it either." Mo Qingyun did not deny Qian Linglong's words. He showed a helpless expression and said, "Therefore, even if I stay, I won't be of much help." Qian Linglong looked better when she heard Mo Qingyun's words. She looked at Mo Qingyun and Qian Xiao without saying anything. Mo Qingyun's words made sense. She could not refute them. The Dark Demon Tribe was very well hidden. She could not be sure if they had already infiltrated the inner tribe. If they had really infiltrated the inner tribe, the Dark Demon Tribe would secretly plot against her doppelganger, Long Han Yin. She would not be able to guard against it. More importantly, if Long Han Yin was hurt, Mo Qingyun would definitely blame 1,000 illusions. Given Mo Qingyun's terrifying talent, it would be a very scary thing to be targeted by him. Of course, the most important thing was that Qian Linglong had a very strange feeling about Mo Qingyun. She could not bear to reject Mo Qingyun. Furthermore, if she allowed Long Han Yin to follow Mo Qingyun would definitely protect her. In this way, she would have less to worry about and could focus on dealing with the Dark Demon Tribe. After thinking about it, Qian Linglong decided to let Mo Qingyun take Long Han Yin away. After Qian Linglong made her decision, she did not beat around the bush with Mo Qingyun. She directly said to Mo Qingyun, "I can let you take Han Yin away, but you have to promise me that you will not do that with her." After Qian Linglong finished speaking, she blushed and revealed a bashful look. Although it was difficult to say this, she had to remind Mo Qingyun. After hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun immediately understood what she meant. He nodded and said, "Okay, I promise you." Hearing Mo Qingyun and Qian Linglong's conversation, Long Han Yin's face also turned red. She understood what Mo Qingyun and Qian Linglong were talking about. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he sent Long Han Yin into the five-direction small pagoda. He then bid farewell to Qian Linglong and prepared to leave. "Mr. Mo, please wait a moment." Seeing that Mo Qingyun was about to leave, Qian Linglong hurriedly called out to Mo Qingyun and requested, "I need some powerful essence blood to form a new clone. Can you give me some of your essence blood?" "Sure." Mo Qingyun agreed to Qian Linglong's request without hesitation. He immediately drew out some essence blood from his body. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, Qian Linglong had always treated him with respect. He could not ignore it. Now that he was giving out his essence blood, it would be his repayment to Qian Linglong. What a powerful bloodline power. After sensing the aura of Mo Qingyun's bloodline, Qian Linglong and Qian Xiao were shocked. The way they looked at Mo Qingyun changed. From what they had sensed earlier, they realized that Mo Qingyun was extremely talented. However, they had underestimated Mo Qingyun's talent. "If that's the case, I will take my leave." After giving some essence blood to Qian Linglong, Mo Qingyun did not stay any longer. In a flash, he left. Looking at Mo Qingyun's back, Qian Xiao was shocked. She said in surprise, "Judging from the aura of the essence blood, the weaker bloodline power should be the bloodline of the Heavenly Soul Demon Tribe. However, what kind of bloodline is the more powerful one?" Qian Xiao muttered to herself in surprise. Then, her eyes lit up and she said in surprise, "Mo Qingyun's cultivation is only at the golden celestial stage. However, he has the holy aura. Could it be that he has another bloodline, the bloodline of the Holy Aura Tribe, which is ranked second on the 10,000 Archean Tribes board? The Holy Aura Tribe?" When Qian Linglong heard Qian Xiao's words, she shook her head with a faint smile and said, "You have underestimated his talent. His bloodline is so powerful that the Holy Aura Tribe is no match for it." More powerful than the Holy Aura Tribe? Could it be? When Qian Xiao heard Qian Linglong's words, her eyes narrowed and she felt a chill in her heart. If that was the case, Mo Qingyun's bloodline could only be ranked first on the 10,000 Archean tribes board. When Qian Linglong saw Qian Xiuqiao's expression, she immediately guessed what she was thinking. She shook her head and said, "It is not ranked first on the 10,000 Archean tribes board. His other bloodline should not be ranked on the 10,000 Archean tribes board." "It is not ranked on the 10,000 Archean tribes board?" Qian Xiuqiao was stunned, and she was even more puzzled. The 10,000 Archean tribes board included all kinds of bloodlines on the barbaric continent. How could there be a bloodline that was not ranked on the board? When Qian Linglong saw Qian Xiuqiao's puzzled expression, she put on a serious expression and explained, "The 10,000 Archean tribes board only includes the surface races of the barbaric continent. There are many powerful hidden races that are not ranked on the board." When Qian Xiuqiao heard Qian Linglong's explanation, she was enlightened and her doubts were cleared. "All right, I'm going to rest. You can leave now." Qian Linglong waved her hand and signaled for Qian Xiuqiao to leave. She then turned around and walked back into the cave. When Qian Xiuqiao heard Qian Linglong's words, she immediately got up and left Dongting Lake. When Qian Xiuqiao came to Dongting Lake, Mo Qingyun left the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions and headed back to the 1,000 Spirit City. Since he had already found Long Hanyin and given Qian Linglong his bloodline, his purpose for this trip could be considered to have been achieved. "Gulanshan, come with me." After leaving the inner clan of the 1,000 illusions, Mo Qingyun summoned Gulanshan and had him ride the lightning cloud crane. After instructing Gulanshan to ride the lightning cloud crane, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed, and he arrived at the Five-Direction Pagoda. When Mo Qingyun arrived at the Five-Direction Pagoda, he went along Han Yin and said, "Han Yin, I will bring you to see someone." "Who?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Long Han Yin was curious and followed Mo Qingyun forward. After a while, Long Han Yin followed Mo Qingyun to the place where Murong Qingyu cultivated. "She is Qingyu?" Seeing Murong Qingyu in front of her, Long Han Yin was shocked and immediately recognized Murong Qingyu. When Long Han Yin recognized Murong Qingyu also recognized her. He smiled faintly and said, "So, you are the Han Yin that Qingyun never forgot. Miss Qingyu, is there a difference between you and me?" Hearing Murong Qingyu's words, Long Han Yin smiled faintly and said with a playful expression, "If one day Qingyun and Miss Linglong are together, there will be no obstacles between us." "Miss Linglong?" Murong Qingyu's expression froze. Then he revealed a sweet smile and said, "That Miss Linglong is not like us, easily deceived by him." Listening to the two women's conversation, Mo Qingyun suddenly revealed an embarrassed expression and felt that he was somewhat redundant. Seeing Mo Qingyun's depressed expression, Long Han Yin and Mo Qingyun smiled and instantly understood each other's thoughts. "Qingyun, Qingyu and I have something to talk about alone. Can you leave first?" Long Han Yin revealed a playful expression and winked at Mo Qingyun, indicating that they wanted to talk about their little secret. "Okay." Hearing Long Han Yin's words, Mo Qingyun nodded and his figure flashed and left. They were all Qian Linglong's doppelgangers. It was inevitable that they would have some secrets. Mo Qingyun was not interested in this. Chapter 1666. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. With Gulanshan's help, they returned to Thousand Spirit City. Back in Thousand Spirit City, Gulanshan sent a voice transmission to Mo Qingyun to report his current itinerary. "We're here." In the Five-Direction Small Pagoda, Mo Qingyun opened his eyes and exited from cultivation. Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating and sensed the progress of his cultivation this time. The second level of the Xianqing scripture is half completed. Knowing his cultivation gains this time, Mo Qingyun smiled in surprise and got up to find Long Han Yin and Qianqian. After a while, Mo Qingyun saw Long Han Yin and Qianqian and heard their laughter. "I haven't seen Qingyun for a few days. I don't know what he's doing. If you miss him so much, you can go find him. How about I go now?" I think you're the one who misses him. Do you want me to tell Qing Yun and let him take you in tonight? No wonder Qian Linglong told Qing Yun. It turns out that you can't hold back. The two women's chatter entered Mo Qing Yun's ears without missing a beat. Ahem. Listening to the two women's conversation, Mo Qing Yun suddenly looked embarrassed. He coughed and said, Han Yin, Qing Yu, we've arrived at Thousand Spirit City. Do you want to go out with me? Now that Han Yin is accompanying me, it's good to go out for a walk. I've stayed in Qian Linglong's daunting lake for a few years and have never left. It's good to go out for a walk. Hearing Mo Qing Yun's suggestion, Long Han Yin and Qian were delighted and agreed to Mo Qing Yun's suggestion. Then Mo Qing Yun took the two women out of the five-direction small pagoda. After coming out of the five-direction small pagoda, Mo Qing Yun put Lightning Cloud Crane into the five-direction small pagoda. Let's enter the city, Mo Qing Yun said to everyone, and then walked towards the Thousand Spirit City. Seeing this, Long Han Yin and the others no longer hesitated and immediately followed behind Mo Qing Yun. As soon as they entered Thousand Spirit City, Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu were like two colorful butterflies, constantly fluttering in the crowd. Long Han Yin and the other girl were already extremely beautiful. In addition, the two girls had the same appearance, which made them even more eye-catching. Wow, what a beautiful woman. If such a pair of beauties could serve me for a night, I would be willing to shorten my lifespan by 10,000 years. You damned ghost. Do you dislike this old lady? Do you believe that I will cripple your cultivation? How could I possibly fall for them? Don't you know best what kind of women I like? At least you know what's good for you. Their small bodies can't be compared to mine. I'm equivalent to two of them. Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu's walk caused the passersby to sigh and caused some women to be envious and jealous. Although these people had different emotions, they did not harass Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu. Seeing Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu's happy appearance, Mo Qing Yun did not stop them and silently followed behind them. After a while, the two girls came to a rouge and powder shop and wanted to choose some rouge and powder. Young Master Ma Li, your eyesight is really good. This box of Rosy Cloud Mountain Sunset Rouge is our shop's top quality goods. Mo Qing Yun walked into the shop and saw a middle-aged man introducing the powder to a young man in a brocade robe. Looking at the young man's actions, he should be preparing to buy some powder and give it to the woman he liked. When the middle-aged man was talking, Molly saw Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu. His eyes immediately lit up and revealed a covetous expression. What a beautiful pair of jade people. Molly did not know the real identity of Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu. It was normal for him to have such thoughts. When Ma Li was praising in his heart, he also sensed the cultivation of Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The cultivation of these two girls is only at the true immortal realm. It is impossible for them to come from a big force. In this case, even if I forcefully abduct the two of them, there will be no trouble. Today's luck is really good. I did not expect to meet such beauties in a rouge and powder shop. The more Molly thought about it, the more excited he became. His desire for Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu became stronger and stronger. He thought to himself, it seems that if I have free time in the future, I can visit more rouge and powder shops. As Molly was thinking, he walked closer to Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu with a refined smile on his face. If one did not know what Molly was thinking, just by looking at his behavior, one might think that he was a gentleman. After a while, Molly came to Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu. He slowly closed the folding fan in his hand and said with a faint smile, Ladies, if you have taken a fancy to something, I can give it to the two of you. From the beginning to the end, Molly did not notice Mo Qing Yun and the others who were standing at the side. Thank you for your kindness. In response to Ma Li's words, Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu nodded politely. They pointed at Mo Qing Yun and said, Qing Yun will naturally buy the things that the two of us want. You don't have to worry about it. After Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu finished speaking, they pulled away from Ma Li and walked toward Mo Qing Yun. Following the gaze of Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu, Ma Li finally noticed Mo Qing Yun. With a disdainful expression, he said, "Him? A kid at the Golden Immortal Realm?" Hearing Ma Li's words, Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu immediately frowned. They did not like Ma Li. Seeing Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu's displeasure, Mo Qingyun smiled and shook his head at them, indicating that they did not need to be angry. Ladies, I'm afraid you don't know that the things in Clipchamp powder shop are not cheap. Seeing that Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu did not speak, Molly put on an arrogant expression and picked up a pink box. He said, "For example, this hallucinatory powder from Water Dream Village costs 10 million low-grade celestial stones. Do you think he has that many celestial stones?" Hearing Ma Li's words, Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu's expressions froze. They were very surprised by the price. Regarding Mo Qingyun's outstanding talent, the two of them would not doubt. However, they did not know if Mo Qingyun had that many celestial stones, so they could not help but worry. "Don't worry, it's just some celestial stones. I can still afford it." Seeing Long Han Yin and Murong Qingyu's reaction, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at them and said, "Shopkeeper, pack up all the cosmetics in your shop. I'll buy them all." "Buy all of them?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the shopkeeper of Clipchamp powder shop was so frightened that his legs turned to jelly. Mo Qingyun's words were too frightening. Although his Clipchamp powder shop was not the best, it was still worth several million high-grade celestial stones. Although the shopkeeper doubted whether Mo Qingyun was telling the truth, he was still a customer. Regardless, Mo Qingyun was a customer of his shop, so he could not question Mo Qingyun. If Mo Qingyun really did have that kind of wealth, he would be in big trouble. Just because the shopkeeper didn't dare to say it didn't mean Molly didn't either. Molly's expression darkened when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He harumphed coldly and said, "You're boasting shamelessly. Do you know how many high-grade celestial stones all the goods in Clipchamp powder shop are worth?" Mo Qingyun didn't answer Ma Li's question directly. Instead, he asked in return, "Do you know that there's a kind of beast in the phantom spirit abyss that's about to break through to the heavenly immortal realm?" Everyone was confused when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They had no idea what Mo Qingyun was trying to say. Molly pondered for a moment, but he still couldn't understand what Mo Qingyun was trying to say. He said with a vexed expression, "It's none of my business whether the beast in the phantom spirit abyss has a breakthrough or not. I don't care if it has a breakthrough or not." "Very well." Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction when he heard Ma Li's answer. He said, "In that case, it's none of your business whether I have enough celestial stones to buy the cosmetics here or not." "You." Molly was furious when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He stared at Mo Qingyun angrily with his eyes wide open. A guy at the Golden Celestial Realm dared to make fun of him. It was really infuriating. Huh. Long Han Yin and the other girl couldn't help laughing when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. As the two women smiled sweetly, they also gave Mo Qingyun a reproachful look, blaming Mo Qingyun for causing them to lose their composure. Mo Qingyun didn't take Long Han Yin and the other girl's actions to heart. He waved his hand casually in front of him. Clatter, crystals surrounded by spiritual chi fell from Mo Qingyun's hand and appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Celestial stones, all of them were supreme-grade celestial stones. Supreme-grade celestial stones. When the shopkeeper saw the celestial stones in front of him, his eyes widened and his mind went blank. He had thought that Mo Qingyun had taken out supreme-grade celestial stones as far as he could go. He didn't expect Mo Qingyun to take out supreme-grade celestial stones. Moreover, the number was so terrifying. This was a little frightening. "Shopkeeper, are these enough?" When the shopkeeper was shocked, Mo Qingyun asked calmly, pulling him out of his shock. The shopkeeper shuddered when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He quickly nodded at Mo Qingyun and said, It's enough. With so many celestial stones, it's enough to buy 10 of my shops." "That's good." When Mo Qingyun heard the shopkeeper's words, he nodded with a faint smile and waved his hand at the shopkeeper. "In that case, wrap up all the rouge and powder." Yes. When the shopkeeper heard Mo Qingyun's words, he immediately ran to wrap up Mo Qingyun's things. When the shopkeeper went to wrap up the goods, Long Han and the other girl finally came to their senses. They looked at Mo Qingyun nervously and said, "Qingyun, each of us can just buy one or two. Isn't it a waste of celestial stones to buy so many at once? It's just some celestial stones. Don't worry about it." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and comforted Long Han and the other girl. He then said, "I'll buy all the rouge and powder. You can use them slowly in the future. You can apply whatever you like." "Thank you, Qingyun." When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Long Han and the other girl smiled sweetly. Their hearts were filled with sweetness. When he saw the reaction of Mo Qingyun and the others, Ma Li's expression instantly turned ugly. He shouted, "Humph! My residence has been attacked by thieves recently. They stole some of my supreme-grade celestial stones. So too, guys." When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Mo Qingyun frowned and a mocking look appeared in his eyes. Chapter 1667. Mo Qingyun chose to ignore Ma Li's words and continued to chat and laugh with Long Han and Lin Mingya. Mo Qingyun's idea was simple. If Ma Li was just trying to win the argument, he would not bother with him. However, if this guy did not know what was good for him and wanted to be slapped in the face, he would not be polite. Obviously, Ma Li was not trying to win the argument. He wanted to teach Mo Qingyun a lesson. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun's cultivation was only at the golden celestial stage, and he was no match for him. Of course, his real motive for dealing with Mo Qingyun was to take the opportunity to take Long Han and Lin Mingya away. When Ma Li saw that Mo Qingyun had ignored him, he was instantly enraged. He waved his hand at the people behind him and said, "Don't just stand there. Take this guy down." The strength of Ma Li's followers was not bad. All of them were close to the almighty celestial stage, which was similar to Yang Tianfeng and the rest. Yes, when they heard Ma Li's order, a few of his followers immediately stepped forward. In a short while, these people surrounded Mo Qingyun with mocking smiles on their faces. As far as they were concerned, Mo Qingyun and the others were unable to go against them with their cultivations. Seeing their actions, Mo Qingyun's smile widened. He looked at Ma Li and shook his head. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." After Mo Qingyun finished his words, he signaled Gulanshan, who was outside the house, to take care of these people. When Gulanshan saw Mo Qingyun's signal, he immediately took action to deal with Ma Li and the rest. Then a golden celestial stage aura erupted from Gulanshan's body. Golden celestial stage? You have a golden celestial stage bodyguard? When Ma Li saw Gulanshan walking in from outside the house, he was shocked and a chill ran down his spine. He did not expect Mo Qingyun to have such an expert by his side. In this way, the situation became somewhat unfavorable. They were not a match for Gulanshan. "Throw them all out." Seeing Gulanshan walk in, Mo Qingyun instructed Gulanshan before ignoring Ma Li and the others. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's command, Gulanshan no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Ma Li and the others. Gulanshan's current cultivation base had already reached the second step of the Daluo Golden Celestial Stage, the Soul Strengthening Stage. Ma Li and the others were no match for him. In just a short while, Ma Li and the rest were thrown out by Gulanshan like trash. "Sir, all the rouge and face powder are here." When Ma Li and the others were thrown out, the shopkeeper of Cloudchong handed a dry bracelet to Mo Qingyun. This was a heaven and earth bracelet. It had the same function as a heaven and earth bag. It could store all kinds of items. After receiving the heaven and earth bracelet, Mo Qingyun carefully checked it. After confirming that there were no mistakes, he nodded his head. Then, Mo Qingyun handed the heaven and earth bracelet to Long Han and said, "All the rouge and face powder are here. You can keep it." "Okay." Long Han nodded her head and took the heaven and earth bracelet. "Let's go." After handing the heaven and earth bracelet to Long Han Qingyun nodded his head at the two girls and got up to walk out of the shop. When Qingyun came out of the shop, he saw Ma Li and the others glaring at him with gloomy and angry eyes. Are you still not going to get lost? Do you want me to send you on your way? Looking at Ma Li and the others in front of him, Qingyun had a playful smile on his face as he asked them. When he heard Qingyun's words, Ma Li's face immediately twitched. Fear appeared on his face as he said, "Brat, this matter won't end like this. If you have the ability, you can wait for me in Thousand Spirit City. I won't be leaving Thousand Spirit City for a while. If you want revenge, you can come find me at any time." Qingyun wasn't afraid of Ma Li's threat at all. He gave Ma Li a reminder. After Qingyun finished speaking, he no longer paid any attention to Ma Li. He turned his head to look at Long Hanyin and the other girl and said, "Where else do you want to go? I'll accompany you. I haven't been to a restaurant since I left the Tianhan continent. How about we go to a restaurant and eat some good food?" Under Qingyun's gaze, Long Hanyin blushed slightly as she spoke her thoughts. As a girl, thinking about eating like this, wouldn't it be a loss of image? When she heard Long Hanyin's suggestion, Murong Qingyo's eyes immediately lit up. She quickly nodded in agreement. "I've been cultivating in the five-directional tower and haven't tasted good food for a long time. Let's find a restaurant to taste. In that case, let's go and eat something." Hearing the two girls' thoughts, Qingyun immediately nodded in agreement and began to look for a restaurant to go to. A moment later, a restaurant called Mountain Sea Residence appeared in front of Qingyun and the others. "This Mountain Sea Residence seems pretty good. How about we go here and try it?" Standing in front of the Mountain Sea Residence, Qingyun asked for everyone's opinion. Hearing Qingyun's question, Long Hanyin and the other girl looked at each other and quickly exchanged glances. Soon, the two girls made a decision to try the delicacies of this Mountain Sea Residence. After everyone finished discussing, they entered the Mountain Sea Residence in a single file and found a place to sit down. After entering the Mountain Sea Residence, Qingyun summoned the restaurant's waiter and ordered all of the Mountain Sea Residence's signature dishes. After Qingyun ordered the dishes, they chatted and laughed while waiting for the dishes to be served. While waiting for the dishes to be served, Qingyun said to Gulanshan, "Gulanshan, go to the Qin family and ask Tang Xiong and the others to come here." In order to prevent Ma Li and the others from retaliating, Qingyun decided to ask Tang Xiong to come here. At that time, it would be easier to drive away Ma Li and the others. Yes. Hearing Qingyun's order, Gulanshan immediately left to summon Tang Xiong and the others. About the time it takes to brew a cup of tea later. Running at top speed in Gulanshan, he arrived at Qin Manor and found Tang Xiong and the others who were chatting. Coincidentally, Qin Mo and the others were also here and were happily chatting with Tang Xiong and the others. "Mr. Gu, why are you here?" Seeing Gulanshan's arrival, Tang Xiong and the others were surprised and quickly got up to greet him. Although their cultivation was one realm higher than Gulanshan's, they did not dare to be disrespectful to him. After all, Gulanshan had been following Qingyun for a long time and had always been valued by Qingyun. Master has returned to Thousand Spirit City and is now in the Mountain Sea Residence. He wants you to go there immediately. In response to Tang Xiong and the others' questions, Gulanshan did not beat around the bush and directly explained his intentions. "Master is back." Hearing Gulanshan's words, Tang Xiong and the others were shocked. They were very surprised by Gulanshan's words. "Since Master has summoned us, let's go to the Mountain Sea Residence immediately." Hearing that Qingyun had summoned them, Tang Xiong and the others did not want to delay and immediately went to the Mountain Sea Residence. As far as they were concerned, Qingyun must have some instructions for summoning them. This was a good opportunity for them to perform, and they could not let it go easily. "Since Master is back, I should also go and greet him. I'll go with you." Seeing Tang Xiong and the others' actions, Qin Mo did not dare to hesitate and immediately followed Tang Xiong and the others. Tang Xiong and the others did not say much about Qin Mo's initiative and allowed him to follow them. "Mr. Gu, do you know why Master has summoned us? On the way to the Mountain Sea residence, Tang Xiong asked Gu Lanshan with a curious expression. Hearing Tang Xiong's question, Qin Mo and the others were curious. They also wanted to know what Mo Qinyan meant. Looking at the nervous Tang Xiong and the others, Gu Lanshan frowned slightly. He pondered for a while and said, I don't know what exactly is going on. If I'm not wrong, Master summoned you to teach a lesson to a brat called Molly. Molly? Ma Mingda's son? Hearing Gu Lanshan's words, Qin Mo was shocked. He was very surprised by this situation. Hearing Qin Mo's words, Gu Lanshan was shocked and said, Patriarch Qin, you know this Molly? What is his background? Molly's background? Does he have a background? Qin Mo sneered and said with a disdainful expression, If Molly dares to disrespect Master, even if I cripple him, Ma Mingda won't dare to let out half a fart. If that's the case, if that boy dares to come, we'll kill him. Hearing Qin Mo's words, Tang Xiong and the others' faces immediately darkened. They looked like they were about to start a massacre. Seeing Tang Xiong and the others' actions, Gu Lanshan smiled faintly and shook his head. He said to the others, Everyone, Molly is just a small character. Master doesn't care about him. We'll just teach him a lesson later. If we really kill him, it will lower Master's status. That's true. Master has a high status. He won't lower himself to Ma Li's level. If Master really wants to kill him, Ao Li Celestial Venerable can do it. Hearing Gu Lanshan's words, Tang Xiong and the others felt relieved and knew what to do next. While Tang Xiong and the others were rushing to the Mountain Sea residence, Ma Li returned to the Ma mansion and began to summon the experts in the mansion. After a while, several perfected golden celestial experts came in front of Ma Li. Young Master Ma Li, why did you summon us? A few golden celestials of the great, all-embracing golden celestial realm came before Ma Li and questioned him with a cold smile. Looking at the experts in front of him, Ma Li immediately sneered and said proudly, Boy, do you think I can't do anything to you just because you have a perfected golden celestial expert following you? Ma Li thought to himself. He then revealed a cold smile and said to the crowd in front of him, Everyone, the reason I'm looking for you is very simple. I want you to teach a person a lesson for me. Teach a person a lesson? Who does young Master Ma Li want to teach a lesson to? We'll make him kneel in front of you and beg for mercy. Who's so bold to offend young Master Ma Li in Thousand Spirit City? He must be tired of living. Everyone started to flatter Ma Li, trying to curry favor with him. Seeing everyone's performance, the smile on Ma Li's face deepened. He said with slight anger, That boy doesn't have any background. He only dares to show off in front of me because he has the protection of a strong soul stage expert. Chapter 1668. How dare this brat be so arrogant when he has the protection of a robust soul stage cultivator? I think he's tired of living. Hearing Ma Li's words, everyone sneered, showing their contempt for Mo Qinyan. Everyone, let's go now to prevent that brat from escaping. Hearing the crowd's words, Ma Li couldn't wait any longer. He couldn't wait to make Mo Qinyan kneel and beg for mercy. After that, Ma Li and the others left the Ma estate to settle the score with Mo Qinyan. Young Master Ma Li, that brat, entered the Mountain Sea house and ordered a lot of good dishes. As soon as Ma Li walked out of the Ma mansion, a young man reported to him about Mo Qinyan's whereabouts. Hearing this person's report, Ma Li immediately sneered. A mocking look appeared on his face as he said, This brat is about to die, but he still dares to eat and drink in the Mountain Sea house. It seems that he wants to die with a full stomach. Let's go to the Mountain Sea house. Ma Li waved to everyone and led them to the Mountain Sea house. When Ma Li and the others set off, Tang Xiong and the others came to the Mountain Sea house and respectfully came to Mo Qinyan. Greetings, Master. Tang Xiong and the others saluted. No need to be so courteous. Find a seat. Seeing Tang Xiong and the others arrive, Mo Qinyan nodded with a faint smile. He waved at them and said, You guys order some food and wine so that you don't attract the attention of others and affect the atmosphere of the hotel. Yes. Hearing Mo Qinyan's words, Tang Xiong and the others did not dare to hesitate and quickly ordered some food and wine. After a while, seeing Tang Xiong and the others' food and wine on the table, Mo Qingyun nodded with satisfaction and said, "Next, you can do whatever you want. But don't let anyone disturb me, Han Yin and Qingyu." "Yes." Tang Xiong and the others nodded and looked solemn. They released their soul power to observe the surroundings. However, Tang Xiong and the others' actions were very subtle and did not attract the attention of others. If Molly knew that there were dozens of almighty celestial stage experts in a mountain sea house waiting for him to walk into the trap, he would be scared out of his wits. He must be scared shitless. About 15 minutes later, just as Qin Mo and the others thought that Molly wouldn't dare to come, Molly appeared. Scram! Molly walked into the Mountain Sea Inn and showed a rude and unreasonable attitude, pushing away the people blocking his way. Seeing Molly's actions, some people who didn't have strong backgrounds immediately retreated in awe. Not long after, as everyone retreated, they opened up a path for Molly. Seeing that the crowd had made way for him, Molly raised his head arrogantly and walked towards Mo Qingyun with his head held high. Not far from Mo Qingyun, Molly had an arrogant expression on his face. He looked down at Mo Qingyun and Long Han Yin and said, "Boy, your courage isn't small. You let people hurt me in Thousand Spirits City, yet you still dare to stay here." Seeing Ma Li's behavior, Qin Mo and the others' faces darkened. They were prepared to teach Ma Li a lesson. However, just as Tang Xiong and the others were about to make a move, Mo Qingyun gave them a hint. Seeing Mo Qingyun's hint, Tang Xiong and the others suppressed their anger and didn't make a move on Ma Li and the others. Hinting that Qin Mo and the others didn't have to make a move, Mo Qingyun smiled playfully and glanced at Ma Li and the others. "These are the helpers you found? With their strength, I'm afraid it's not enough to take revenge on me." Shameless boasting. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ma Li's face darkened. He curled his lips and laughed lightly. "Boy, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have a strong soul stage expert by your side to protect you. Now, I'll let you know the price of arrogance. I'll return those words to you now." Hearing Ma Li's mocking words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and immediately retorted, "Don't think that you can take revenge on me just because you found a few Daluo golden immortals. You're too naive. Oomph. I think you won't cry until you see the coffin. You'll naturally be afraid when we make a move later." Hearing Mo Qingyun's arrogant words, Ma Li's face turned even uglier and he said angrily. Just as Ma Li was speaking in anger, he saw Qin Mo standing at the side. A look of disrespect appeared on his face as he spoke. "Clan leader Qin, you are actually here as well? I didn't mean to disturb you earlier. I hope you won't take it to heart." Oomph. Hearing Ma Li's words, Qin Mo snorted coldly, showing Ma Li's dissatisfaction. However, because of Mo Qingyun's hint, he didn't make a move on Ma Li. He only glared at Ma Li with an unhappy expression. Ma Li naturally didn't know what Qin Mo was thinking. When he saw Qin Mo's unhappy expression, he thought that he had disturbed Qin Mo. Thinking of this, Ma Li's expression darkened. He turned to Mo Qingyun and said, "Brat, who do you think you are? Patriarch Qin is having a meal here today. Why don't you get lost immediately before you affect Patriarch Qin's appetite?" Hearing Ma Li's words, Qin Mo's face turned even uglier and the aura around him became even more sinister. Ma Li, this brat, actually dared to say such words in front of Mo Qingyun. He was trying to kill him. "Qin Mo, you know him?" When Mo Qingyun saw the anger in Qin Mo's heart, he turned to Qin Mo and asked curiously, "Impudent." At this moment, Mo Qingyun had just finished speaking. Before Qin Mo could reply, Ma Li berated Mo Qingyun and said, "Brat, who do you think you are? What is Patriarch Qin's status? You don't have the right to say his name." After Ma Li berated Mo Qingyun, he didn't wait for Qin Mo to reply and said, "Patriarch Qin, you don't have to do anything. I will help you chase this brat away and let him know that there are some words that can't be said casually." After Ma Li finished speaking, He waved his hand at the people beside him, indicating for them to take action against Mo Qingyun. Stop! Seeing Ma Li and the others' actions, Qin Mo couldn't take it anymore and immediately shouted at Ma Li and the others. He didn't want Mo Qingyun to misunderstand and think that he had a good relationship with Ma Li. This would cause Mo Qingyun's impression of him to worsen. Because Qin Mo's status wasn't simple, Ma Li and the others immediately stopped after Qin Mo's shout. Patriarch Qin, are you going to do it yourself? Seeing Qin Mo's actions, Ma Li was stunned and instinctively had such a thought. From his point of view, if Qin Mo didn't intend to do it himself, why would he stop them? As for the fact that Qin Mo was Mo Qingyun's servant, Ma Li didn't even think about it. In his opinion, it was impossible. Qin Mo chose to ignore Ma Li's question and bowed respectfully to Mo Qingyun. Master, I have met Ma Li's father, Ma Mingda, a few times in the past. That's why I've seen Ma Li a few times. Actually, I'm not very familiar with him. With Qin Mo's intelligence, he naturally knew that he couldn't have anything to do with Ma Li. Otherwise, if Mo Qingyun blamed him and took his anger out on him, it would be troublesome. I see. Hearing Qin Mo's explanation, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of understanding and didn't doubt Qin Mo's words. After understanding Qin Mo's relationship with Ma Li, Mo Qingyun didn't bother with Ma Li anymore. He waved his hand at Qin Mo and said, "Since that's the case, help me throw him out. Also, I don't want to see him jumping around in the 1,000 jewels in the future." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qin Mo and the others immediately understood what Mo Qingyun meant. Mo Qingyun was telling them to make Ma Li a cripple in the future and that he wouldn't be able to walk around normally. Master? Hearing Qin Mo's way of addressing Mo Qingyun, Ma Li's face was filled with shock and his mind went blank. Even if he racked his brains, he wouldn't have thought that Mo Qingyun's identity was so powerful. The Qin family was much stronger than the Ma family. He didn't expect that even such a family would become Mo Qingyun's vassal. This time, he had kicked an iron plate. While Ma Li was still in shock, Qin Mo and the others walked towards him, each of them emitting a cold aura. Seeing Qin Mo and the others' actions, Ma Li was so scared that his face twitched. He begged Qin Mo, "Patriarch Qin, I was wrong. Please spare me this time." At this moment, Ma Li was so regretful that his intestines turned green. If he knew that Mo Qingyun was so powerful, he wouldn't have dared to come even if he was beaten to death. Qin Mo and the others were indifferent to Ma Li's pleas and mercilessly attacked them. The few people that Ma Li brought were only at the robust soul stage and were only slightly stronger than Gulan Shan. With their strength, they naturally couldn't resist Lian Hong and the others' attacks. After a while, Ma Li and the others had their cultivation crippled and were thrown onto the streets of Thousand Spirit City. If not for the fact that Master doesn't want to kill people, this day next year will be your death anniversary. Scram. After throwing Ma Li and the others out of the Mountain Sea residence, Lian Hong had a solemn expression as he berated them. Hearing Lian Hong's words, Ma Li and the others were shocked and didn't dare to stay here any longer. Then, with the help of the others, Ma Li quickly rushed back to the Ma residence. Not long after, Ma Li and the others returned to the residence, each with a dejected expression. They didn't expect that Mo Qingyun's background would be so great. At this time, when Ma Li and the others returned to the residence, they found that the Ma residence was full of joy. What happened? Seeing the scene in the residence, Ma Li had a puzzled expression and grabbed a guard to ask. Hearing Ma Li's question, the guard panicked and quickly reported to Ma Li. Reporting to young Master Ma Li, young Miss and Senior Immortal Wan Feng are engaged. She is now in the main hall with Senior Immortal Wan Feng. Brother-in-law? Hearing the guard's words, Ma Li's expression suddenly became happy and he immediately rushed to the Ma Residence's conference hall. After a while, Ma Li arrived at the Ma Residence's conference hall with the help of the others. When everyone saw Ma Li arrive, they were all shocked. They greeted him nervously and asked, "Lear, what happened to you? Who did this?" "I don't know that person, but he is related to the Qin family." Under everyone's gaze, Molly revealed a gloomy expression and told them what had happened. Chapter 1669. Brother-in-law, it's great that you're willing to help. Hearing Wan Feng's words, Ma Li's face lit up and he said excitedly, with brother-in-law taking action this time, we can definitely flatten the Qin family and make that kid die without a burial place. When Ma Li said this, he was also thinking in his heart, you two little bitches, wait until I kill that kid. See how I'll conquer you and make you happy under my crotch. Molly didn't dare to say this out loud. If Ma Mingda knew that he ended up like this because of these two women, he would definitely curse him. He would definitely be scolded to death by Ma Mingda. Okay, rest at ease and recuperate first. Wan Feng and I will go and avenge you. Looking at Ma Li, Ma Mingda had a solemn expression and sternly warned him. Hearing Ma Mingda's words, Ma Li's face darkened and his expression became ferocious. He said angrily, no, I want to go with you. I want to see that kid kneel on the ground and beg for mercy with my own eyes. Hearing Ma Li's thoughts, Ma Mingda had a solemn expression and said, your injuries aren't light. You have to recuperate immediately. If you go with me, I'm afraid you'll miss the best time to heal. Father-in-law, don't worry. With me here, Ma Li's injuries won't be a problem. Hearing Ma Mingda's words, Wan Feng comforted him and began to speak her own thoughts. I also think that letting Ma Li see the destruction of the Qin family with his own eyes, as well as the destruction of that kid's soul, will truly quell his anger. Brother-in-law knows me best. Thank you, brother-in-law. Hearing Wan Feng speak out his thoughts, Molly was pleasantly surprised and hurriedly thanked Wan Feng. Under Wan Feng's persuasion, Ma Mingda changed his mind and was willing to bring Molly along. He said, since Wan Feng has spoken, then I'll bring you along. Thinking about going to find Mo Qingyun and avenge Ma Li for his trash cultivation, Ma Mingda's expression turned even uglier. Ma Mingda said angrily, Qin Mo, Ma Mingda, have always respected you. You actually hurt my son. Don't blame me for not caring about our friendship. Let's go to the mountain Xiyin. Ma Mingda muttered to himself. He waved to everyone and prepared to go to the mountain Xiyin to find Mo Qingyun for revenge. Hearing Ma Mingda's words, Wan Feng frowned and suggested, Father-in-law, Molly just said that Qin Mo and the others have been eating for a long time. If we go to mountain Xiyin now, they might have already left. Then what does my worthy son-in-law mean? Hearing Wan Feng's words, Ma Mingda frowned and felt that Wan Feng's words made sense. Under Ma Mingda's questioning, a cold smile appeared on Wan Feng's face. He said, as the saying goes, the monk can run, but the temple cannot. Since that brat is related to the Qin clan, we will go directly to the Qin clan and wait there for him. This is a good idea. Hearing Wan Feng's idea, Ma Mingda and the others all nodded and agreed with Wan Feng's suggestion. Then, Ma Mingda and the others no longer hesitated and immediately rushed to the Qin clan. When Ma Mingda was on his way to the Qin family, in the mountain Xiyin, Mo Qingyun and the other two walked out of the mountain Xiyin with unsatisfied expressions. This mountain Xiyin's dishes are not bad. If there is a chance, we can come again next time. Coming out of the mountain Xiyin, Murong Qingyu revealed a happy smile and praised the mountain Xiyin's dishes. It could be seen that she was very satisfied with the mountain Xiyin's dishes. Hearing Murong Qingyu's words, Mo Qingyun's eyes turned and he immediately came up with a plan. He said, how about I capture all the chefs of the mountain Xiyin and bring them to the Five Directions Pagoda and let them cook delicious food for you every day? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Murong Qingyu and the other two were stunned. They didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Mo Qingyun's idea. Mo Qingyun's idea was really too shocking. Of course, although they were shocked by Mo Qingyun's idea, Long Hanyin and the other two still felt very sweet in their hearts. From this, it could be seen how much Mo Qingyun cared about the two of them. No need. It's good to eat once in a while. If it's like this every day, I won't feel anything. After a brief moment of surprise, Long Han Yin faintly smiled at Mo Qingyun and tactfully rejected Mo Qingyun's suggestion. Hearing Long Han Yin's words, Mo Qingyun no longer thought about it. He felt that Long Han Yin's words were reasonable. Do you want to continue strolling? Walking on the city road of Thousand Spirit City, Mo Qingyun looked at Long Han Yin and the other two beside him and asked them about their plans. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Long Han Yin and the other two began to talk, asking each other for their thoughts. No, let's go back to the Five Directions Pagoda. Long Han Yin and the other two talked for a while. They both showed a lack of interest and planned to return to the Five Directions Pagoda. Hearing the two women's words, Mo Qingyun no longer forced them and immediately sent them into the Five Directions Pagoda. After sending Long Han Yin and the other two into the Five Directions Pagoda, Mo Qingyun turned to look at Qin Mo and the others and said, I'm going to the Thousand Autumn Mansion. You guys go back to the Qin family first. I'll meet you guys at the Qin family later. Yes, master. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Qin Mo and the others immediately responded and rushed towards the Qin family. They were not worried about Mo Qingyun going alone. With Ao Li following Mo Qingyun, they were not worried at all. With Ao Li's grand unity mystic immortal realm cultivation, he was an absolutely invincible existence in Thousand Spirit City. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Thousand Autumn Mansion and went directly to find the Thousand Autumn Agarwood. Now that he was preparing to leave Thousand Spirit City, he wanted to see Long Han Yin and ask her about her plans and thoughts. He was still a little worried about leaving Long Han Yin alone in the Thousand Autumn Mansion after he left Thousand Spirit City. If Long Han Yin did not want to stay in the Thousand Autumn Mansion, then he would bring Long Han Yin with him. Mo Qingyun was not unfamiliar with Thousand Autumn Agarwood's residence. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived at Thousand Autumn Agarwood's residence with ease. Mr. Mo, why are you back? Could it be that the Patriarch and the others have also returned? Seeing Mo Qingyun suddenly appear, Thousand Autumn Agarwood was surprised and immediately asked Mo Qingyun. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun had gone to the inner clan of the 1,000 Illusions with Qianqiu Hongtu and the others. Now that Mo Qingyun had returned, Qianqiu Hongtu and the others should have returned as well. No, they didn't return. I'm the only one who returned. In response to Thousand Autumn Agarwood's question, Mo Qingyun gave a simple reply. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Thousand Autumn Agarwood's expression froze, thinking that he had misheard. What kind of situation was this? Could it be that Mo Qingyun did not go to the inner clan? Otherwise, why would he be the only one who came back? After a short moment of confusion, Thousand Autumn Agarwood's expression immediately trembled, and a strong sense of worry rose in his heart. Could it be that you encountered some danger on your way back, and you were the only one who came back? In Thousand Autumn Agarwood's opinion, this was the only way to explain the situation in front of him. Mo Qingyun could not help but laugh at Thousand Autumn Agarwood's thoughts. He shook his head and said, Young Master Agarwood, you don't have to worry. Patriarch Hongtu and the others are still in the inner clan. I'm the only one who came back early. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Thousand Autumn Agarwood's expression relaxed, and his hanging heart was at ease. After giving a simple explanation to Thousand Autumn Agarwood, Mo Qingyun did not beat around the bush and directly explained the purpose of his visit to Thousand Autumn Agarwood. Young Master Agarwood, I have something to look for Miss Han Yin. I'll have to trouble you to bring me to see her. All right, I'll bring you there now. Although there were still many questions in his heart, Thousand Autumn Agarwood did not dare to delay and immediately brought Mo Qingyun to look for Long Han Yin. Under Thousand Autumn Agarwood's lead, Mo Qingyun quickly arrived at Long Han Yin's residence and saw Long Han Yin embroidering. Embroidery? Seeing Long Han Yin embroidering, Mo Qingyun could not help but be stunned. He did not expect Long Han Yin to have such thoughts. Chapter 1670. Thank you. Mr. Mo. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyun's expression was happy, and she quickly thanked Mo Qingyun. Long Hanyun thanked Mo Qingyun. She showed a curious expression and asked, Mr. Mo, the girl you are looking for, have you found her now? Hearing Long Hanyun mention Long Hanyun, Mo Qingyun's expression was happy, and he said with a smile, Are you talking about Hanyun? I have found her, and she said that she wanted to see you. I forgot about it. Mo Qingyun had told Long Hanyun some things about Long Hanyun in Daunting Lake. At that time, Long Hanyun learned of Long Hanyun's existence and said that she wanted to see Long Hanyun. At this moment, Long Hanyun learned from Mo Qingyun that Long Hanyun was here, and she immediately said that she wanted to see Long Hanyun. After a while, Long Hanyun left the Five Directions small pagoda and appeared in front of Long Hanyun. You're Miss Hanyun? Seeing Long Hanyun suddenly appear, Long Hanyun showed a surprised expression and couldn't help but praise Long Hanyun. Miss Hanyun is indeed as beautiful as a fairy. No wonder Mr. Mo is obsessed with you. Hearing Long Hanyun's words, Long Hanyun's face was happy, and she said, Miss Hanyun, you are too modest. In front of you, I dare not say that I am as beautiful as a fairy. The two women exchanged a few polite words, and their relationship immediately became closer, like sisters who talked about everything. It is not convenient to chat here. Come with me to the Five Directions small pagoda. I will introduce Qingyu to you. After a few words with Long Hanyun invited her, intending to introduce Muron Qingyu to her. Hearing Long Hanyun's invitation, Long Hanyun hesitated for a moment before she nodded and said, Since it's an invitation from Miss Hanyun, I shall not refuse. Seeing that Long Hanyun had agreed, Long Hanyun looked at Mo Qingyun and asked Mo Qingyun to send them into the five-directional pagoda. Lady Hanyun, since that's the case, I'll bring you away now. Seeing Long Hanyun's plan, Mo Qingyun's heart trembled, and he immediately changed his mind. He said, If that's the case, I won't have to come to the Thousand Autumns Manor to take you away. All right. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyun nodded and agreed with Mo Qingyun's suggestion. Then, Mo Qingyun sent Long Hanyun and the other girl into the Five Directions small pagoda. After dealing with Long Hanyun's matter, Mo Qingyun did not stay any longer and left Long Hanyun's residence. After leaving Long Hanyun's residence, Mo Qingyun went to Huang Yushang's residence and bade her a simple farewell. Knowing that Mo Qingyun was leaving, Huang Yushang showed some reluctance, but she did not persuade him to stay. She and Mo Qingyun had only met by chance, so she could not give Mo Qingyun any advice. After bidding farewell to Huang Yushang, Mo Qingyun went to Qinshounan and gave him some instructions before leaving. After leaving the Thousand Autumns Manor, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately rushed to the Qin Manor. After about 15 minutes, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Qin Manor. When Mo Qingyun arrived at the Qin Manor, he could not help but be shocked by the scene in front of him. He saw that the Qin Manor was surrounded by people who were watching the show, and they were whispering to each other. The Qin Manor is finished this time. They actually offended a quasi-grand unity mystic celestial expert. I don't think so. The number of perfected golden celestial experts in the Qin Manor is not as many as the other party. I really did not expect that the Qin Manor would have so many perfected golden celestial experts. They really hit it well. As Mo Qingyun walked closer, some people's conversation entered his ears. A quasi-grand unity mystic celestial expert came to invade the Qin Manor. Hearing these people's words, Mo Qingyun frowned. He was very surprised by this news. Then, Mo Qingyun quickened his pace and quickly walked into the Qin Manor. When Mo Qingyun walked towards the Qin Manor, he also released his saint aura to suppress the people around him. Sensing Mo Qingyun's saint aura, the surrounding people were frightened and quickly made way for Mo Qingyun. In their opinion, a person who could release his saint aura was not someone they could offend. With the crowd making way for him, Mo Qingyun easily entered the Qin Manor and saw a few familiar figures. Molly, Wan Feng, Recognizing Ma Li and Wan Feng, Mo Qingyun could not help but be surprised. It turned out that the people who came to invade the Qin Manor were them. When Mo Qingyun saw Wan Feng also recognized Mo Qingyun. Her face instantly became gloomy, and she shouted, "Boy, I was worried that I would not be able to find you. I did not expect to meet you here. Enemies are really bound to meet on a narrow road." When Wan Feng said this, a shockingly powerful aura was released from her body. Under the shroud of this aura, the surrounding people were shocked and revealed a fearful expression. Mo Qingyun was still calm under Wan Feng's aura. He was not affected by Wan Feng's aura at all. It's true that enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. However, you are in such a hurry to find me. Do you want to be beaten again? Looking at the furious Wan Feng, Mo Qingyun smiled mockingly and mocked Wan Feng. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wan Feng was so angry that her face twitched. She angrily shouted at Mo Qingyun, "Boy, I was just careless last time. You won't be so lucky this time." Hearing Wan Feng's words, Ma Li, Ma Mingda, and the others were shocked. From the conversation between Wan Feng and Ma Mingda, it seemed that Wan Feng had suffered a great loss at the hands of Mo Qingyun. With Wan Feng's quasi-grand unity, profound, immortal cultivation, she actually suffered a loss at the hands of Mo Qingyun. At this moment, Ma Li, Ma Mingda, and the others were greatly puzzled. Being bombarded by the sealing power, Ma Mingda and the others were shocked to find that their cultivation was beginning to weaken. In a short period of time, Ma Mingda and the others' cultivation dropped by a realm. When Ma Mingda and the others realized that their cultivations had been weakened, they all showed fear and panic on their faces. In this way, they were in a bad situation. This time, they were really doomed. Bloodline oppression. Before Ma Mingda and the others could calm down, a terrifying bloodline oppression was emitted from Mo Qingyun. When this bloodline power appeared, it suppressed Ma Mingda and the others, making it difficult for their qi and blood to flow. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Ma Mingda and the others were shocked and realized that the situation was not good. That kid's influence on the battle is too great. Let's kill him first. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Ma Mingda said to the others and prepared to deal with Mo Qingyun. However, before Ma Mingda could deal with Mo Qingyun, he was stopped by Lian Hong. "Old man, you actually dared to be distracted when fighting me. It seems that I was too polite to you just now." As Lian Hong's words fell, his attacks immediately became fiercer, and Ma Mingda was unable to resist. Bang, bang, bang. In a short while, a series of muffled sounds were heard, and the people of Ma Mansion were all sent flying to the ground. After seriously injuring the people of Ma Mansion to the ground, Lian Hong and the others did not stop and directly destroyed their cultivation. When Lian Hong and the others finished their battle, Ao Li's battle also ended. He captured Wan Feng and brought her to Mo Qingyun and asked, "Master, how do you plan to deal with Wan Feng? This subordinate thinks that Wan Feng's strength is not bad. Perhaps you can recruit her for your own use." "Ao Li, you spineless guy. I won't be like you and submit to a golden immortal." Hearing Ao Li's words, Wan Feng immediately sneered at Ao Li. He looked coldly at Mo Qingyun and said, "Kid, you want me to submit to you? Stop dreaming. If you have the ability, just kill me." Hearing Wan Feng's words, Mo Qingyun did not want to say anything more to her. He waved his hand at Ao Li and said, "Since he wants to die, then let's grant him his wish." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wan Feng's expression immediately shook, and he unconsciously revealed a terrified expression. Just now, he was only angry. Now that he was truly facing death, it was impossible for him not to be afraid. Wait a moment. Seeing that Mo Qingyun really wanted to kill her, Wan Feng immediately shouted and interrupted Ao Li's actions. "What else do you have to say?" Ao Li's expression was cold. He stared at Wan Feng in front of him, waiting for her to say her last words. Under A.O. Li's gaze, Wan Feng glanced awkwardly at Mo Qingyun and said with an embarrassed smile, Just now I was angry. Let me think about it. Chapter 1672. Floating Dragon Ancient Kingdom, Royal Capital. At this moment, in the palace, an arrogant-looking young man was sitting on the dragon throne with a smug look on his face. Greetings, Your Majesty. The officials in the imperial palace bowed respectfully when they saw the young man sitting on the dragon throne. There's no need for such formalities. The young man waved his hand indifferently when he saw their actions. He turned to a middle-aged man and asked, Royal Uncle, have you found out anything about Mo Qingyun? The young man sitting on the dragon throne was Feng Xian, the second prince of the floating dragon ancient kingdom. He had gone to the Wind Thunder dynasty and brought some reinforcements to stabilize the situation in the floating dragon ancient kingdom. Of course, he was only able to stabilize the situation in the floating dragon ancient kingdom because Mo Qingyun had killed Xian Shao and the others. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for them to get rid of Xian Shao and the others with their strength. Your Majesty, we've found their whereabouts. Hearing Feng Xian's question, Feng Qiong Ao's expression turned solemn. He reported to Feng Xian and said, According to the scouts, Mo Qingyun and the others are hiding in a place called Heavenly Devil Talisman Stronghold. Heavenly Demon Talisman Stockade? Feng Xian's face darkened when he heard Feng Qiong Ao's report. He said coldly, A mere disciple of the Eternal South Immortal Palace dares to challenge me? Soon, I will let him know what the consequences of challenging me are. Feng Xian did not want to waste any time after learning where Mo Qingyun was hiding. He said to the few golden celestials beside him, Senior Wu Feng, Senior Han Hen, I'll have to trouble you to help me get rid of some rebels in the floating dragon ancient kingdom. Feng Xiong Ao's expression changed when he saw Feng Xian's actions. He quickly advised Feng Xian, Your Majesty, Mo Qingyun's talent is monstrous and his methods are strange and powerful. Now that he wants power, it's best we don't provoke him. Prince Xiong Ao, we've even wiped out the Dark Devil tribe. Why should we be afraid of Mo Qingyun? That's right. He's just a true immortal brat. How capable could he be? Prince Xiong Ao, don't worry. That kid is dead for sure. Hearing Feng Qiong Ao's suggestion, the others all voiced their disagreement. The way they saw it, even if a brat with a cultivation of true immortal state were to possess heaven-defying abilities, he could not possibly be that powerful. Feng Xian revealed a faint smile when he saw everyone's thoughts. He immediately made a decision in his heart and said, Royal Uncle Qiong Ao, you don't need to worry about this. Now that all these seniors have stepped out, it is more than enough to deal with Mo Qingyun. Sigh. Hearing Feng Xian's decision, Feng Qiong Ao couldn't help but sigh as a strong sense of unease rose in his heart. Chapter 1673. After chatting with Yao Liyun and the others for a while to understand the situation of the Heavenly Devil Talisman Stronghold, Mo Qingyun stood up and left. After leaving Yao Liyun's residence, Mo Qingyun went to Long Ruolin's residence to prepare for them to meet Long Hanyan. Qingyun, you're back? Seeing Mo Qingyun's arrival, Long Ruolin immediately revealed a surprised expression and quickly went to welcome Mo Qingyun. At the same time, Long Ruolin also shouted into the house, Feiyu, Qingyun is back. Come out quickly. Under Long Ruolin's shout, a middle-aged man who looked somewhat similar to Mo Qingyun quickly walked out from the house. Father, mother, how have you been? Under Long Ruolin and Feiyu's invitation, Mo Qingyun sat down on the stone bench and asked the two of them out of concern. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Long Ruolin and Feiyu looked at each other and smiled brilliantly at Mo Qingyun everything is good. If you can get married earlier and let us have a white and chubby grandson, everything will be even better. Mo Qingyun was speechless. He really didn't expect Long Rulin and Feiyu to bring up such a topic as soon as they met. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Long Rulin and Feiyu smiled knowingly and waved their hands at Mo Qingyun. We're just joking with you. Did you meet Han Yin on your trip to 1,000 Illusions? Mo Qingyun didn't hide the purpose of his trip to 1,000 Illusions from Long Rulin and Feiyu, so they knew about it. I saw her. Under Long Rulin's nervous gaze, Mo Qingyun nodded with a faint smile and answered the two truthfully. He came to find Long Rulin and Feiyu to let Long Hanyan meet them, so there was nothing to hide. Hearing Mo Qingyun's reply, Long Rulin and Feiyu were overjoyed and asked, "Really? Is Hanyan doing well?" Seeing Long Rulin and Feiyu's reaction, Mo Qingyun revealed a brilliant smile and said, "Whether Hanyan is doing well or not, why don't you ask her personally when you see her later?" Ask her personally? Long Rulin and Feiyu were stunned, not understanding what Mo Qingyun's words meant. After a brief moment of surprise and confusion, Long Hanyan's eyes immediately lit up. She revealed a pleasantly surprised and excited expression as she said, "Qingyun, you mean to say that you brought Hanyan back?" Long Rulin and Feiyu's, who was beside her, Feiyu beside her, and Feiyu, and Feiyu, and Feiyu, and Feiyu, and Feiyu's, and Feiyu, and N and Long Feiyu's. Ruiyu, Feiyu, S, and Feiyu, and Feiyu, and Feiyu. She and Feiyu, and looked Feiyu's was, and looked Feiyu, and Feiyu, and looked. Aunt Rulin, Uncle Feiyu. Long Hanyan excitedly greeted Long Rulin and Feiyu when she saw them. "It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back." Long Rulin and Feiyu were relieved to see Long Hanyan appear before them. They could not help but cry tears of joy. Fang Xian did not want to think too much about Mo Qingyun and immediately made a move against Wu Fang and the others. Hearing Fang Xian's request, Wu Fang and the others nodded indifferently and walked forward with cold expressions. Wu Fang and the others walked to the front and glanced at Mo Qingyun. He sneered and said, "Boy, with your cultivation base at the Golden Celestial stage, you are indeed talented to be able to fight with a powerhouse at the first step of the Golden Celestial stage. However, you are too arrogant. As the saying goes, too hard makes it easy to break. Remember this in your next life." "Haha, is that so? I don't think so." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and shook his head. He glanced at Wu Fang and the others and retorted, "Since that is the case, let me remind you that in your next life, don't meddle in other people's business if you don't have the ability. Otherwise, you'll get into trouble." "How dare you, boy? We don't need you to tell us what to do." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Hen shouted angrily and raised his hand to capture Mo Qingyun. Seeing Han Hen make a move against Mo Qingyun, Wu Fang and the others did not hesitate and made a move against Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun had a mocking expression on his face when Wu Fang and the others attacked. He looked at Wu Fang and the others indifferently. At this moment, a terrifying aura suddenly emitted from Mo Qingyun's body. When this aura was emitted, the expressions of Wu Fang and the others changed drastically. Their faces turned ashen. This was the aura of a grand unity mystic immortal. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.